Up to date. To present to you once again one wonderful episode of Wake Up Africa. This is our morning show, is our flagship program. My name is Kokulumo. Welcome indeed.
And my name is Biadala. You're welcome for a great ride. First off, let me lay it out again that very soon this young man here will be celebrating his birthday. And I'm excited about it. It's on Saturday. He's going to be having a party. So well, are you ready for weather updates and birthdays and news updates and all of that? There's going to be great conversations today. But today I'm excited about one segment, which is Ask the Doctor. Because lots of people have been asking lots of questions about their health. And you know that the one place you have to go check your health out is the Bank Hospital, right? So we just want to say thank you to the Bank Hospital for supporting the morning show, and also Kelly Keys for sorting our clothes out. I'm ready for the weather.
Absolutely, but of course, coming up as well, we're talking symbols, and we're looking at the Ghanaian symbols.
Yeah.
And how they connect to Christianity, whether or not there are, some nuanced conversation we could have, whether we can see a taste and a feel of, demonic presence in our symbols. But of course, it's expository. And so we're going to be opening them up for you to see, making sure that you are abreast with it, whether or not they align with our religion. And it will be a very, very instructive one because, again, we're coming from culture and of Christianity as well. We'll see whether we can blend it. And there are some gray areas as well that we can iron out. And so I'm excited.
That'll be very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are very deep individuals that are coming through. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Yes.
All righty. Let's settle down for the weather, shall we? All righty, let's get on with the weather, shall we? And the weather prophet is standing by. Good morning, Mr. Solomon.
Good morning, dear a precious one.
Yeah. Hope you're good.
By the grace of God, I'm doing good.
Fantastic. Take us away. What should we expect by way of weather today?
Thank you. And let me first greet our church viewers and listeners of Wake Up Africa on Dominion TV this morning. It's the last but one day of the working week, Thursday, 20th March 2025, and we are looking at the weather for the next 24 hours over the entire country. It will be partly cloudy across the entire country this early morning. The sun will emerge late morning into the afternoon, and it will be hot and sunny in the afternoon across all sectors, with chances of rainfall activities over parts of Greater Accra, Eastern Ashanti, Western North, Oti, Bono East, and the Savannah regions. These rains will be isolated in the evening before about 7 p.m. So not all places will get some of the rain. It will be isolated. The state of the sea will be rough today again, so precautionary measures should be taken once again. Temperatures will range from 26 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the coastal belts, 23 degrees Celsius in the morning to 35 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the middle sectors, 22 degrees Celsius in the morning to 37 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the transition belts, 26 degrees Celsius in the morning to 40 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the northern sectors of the country. Other West African countries like Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia will have similar weather conditions like Ghana today. So, the precious one, this is how the weather will be for the next 24 hours over the entire country. However, I will keep you updated if there's any changes. So, listeners, very much aware. Thank you very much. You had another precious one.
All righty. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon, the weather prophet. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Yeah, so now you know what's going to be happening. I think that there's a closing season coming up even for fisher folks, right? So, yeah, that weather is very important info for us. Coco, you have some birthdays?
Absolutely, but of course, as well as usual, we'll get into those ones that we have prepared for you, right?
Yeah.
Let's celebrate some beautiful, beautiful souls, shall we?
Yeah. It's your birthday. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your day, one day out of 365. Happy birthday. Ooh, to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. It's your birthday. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your day, one day out of 365. Happy birthday. Ooh, to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. To you.
There we go. We are always on standby to celebrate birthdays with you, no matter how short the time is. And so you can also send in your names of your friends, families who will be celebrating their birthdays from today onwards, right? So make sure you send it to us. Go to our socials, DM us on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on YouTube, My Dominion TV. Connect with us. Let us have them. Also, quite a number of birthdays today. Calvin Forson, today's your birthday. Thelma Sempar as well. Hetty Quat, it's been a long while we have met. Happy birthday to you as well. Shesko Moses Lee, Victoria Jobi, and also Magdalene Kofija. All of you are celebrating your birthdays as well. Do have a very wonderful birthday, and always pray to God, especially on these days. Spend some time with God, thanking Him for what He has done. It's a miracle, right? It's a miracle. Well,
Happy birthday in advance. That's what happens to people who don't like birthdays. And they're friends with me. Oh Lord, you're about to die. Yeah.
Well, we will now, that connects us to sharing with you some news making headlines around the world and also here in Ghana. We call it Wake Up Buzz. So welcome indeed.
It's your birthday.
Okay.
Well, let's do the very first one. NACOC arrests notorious drug trafficker Uchechukwu Chima in Accra. This gone into the tunes of some big money that we're looking at. It's a 56-year-old Nigerian national.
2.1 million.
Apprehended on Tuesday. 192 kilogram of cocaine. Where did he pass through? How did he come?
Weekend borders.
Who is he?
What are his connections?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got a value chain. People have money, they are buying cocaine. Lord have mercy on us. Amen. Well, let's see how it goes, though. Let's see how it goes. We understand that it was an intelligence that led to that. I pray for a lot more. We'll see how it goes, really. I'm worried. I'm really worried. Really,
Drug
really
trafficking.
Really
Ghana.
worried.
Interesting.
Anyways.
Okay, Central Region records over 3,000 suspected cholera cases and 19 deaths. Sad news, yeah.
Very.
And I'm still asking, why Central Region? I mean, because is it that we're not hearing from other regions, or is it the Central Region? What are the underlying factors? What could be wrong? Is the whole Galamsey thing linking to water? You know where I'm coming from?
Yes.
To their homes? Is that an underlying factor? Is there something we need to look at?
So, according to the Dr. Anani, if you like, the Regional Director of Health Services, you see where the angle is. That, of course, she admitted that it's putting pressure on their facilities. Now, she added that more investment in the health infrastructure is needed to better handle such emergencies. Now, if you always put your hope and focus on infrastructure, when you know that your population is going to balloon, people are going to come into the Central Region and walk out.
Yeah.
That is where we're going to have the problem. Because it's got to be preventive rather. What is bringing this? Can we focus on that and make it long lasting? Because even the story does not speak really about the causes.
Right.
And the triggers. What's that's my worry.
We had a conversation about cholera with the doctor. And if you ask me, it starts from a personal level.
Good.
You know, so if you are not able to practice personal hygiene or take care of your own environment, and you're expecting the government to step in, it's a bit of a problem.
I think it's just, as much as I agree that emergencies must be taken care of, when you are now, we all know what's happening to our monies and how people find it difficult to put it into very good use. It's the cause will just be. So you just go to the annual review or quarterly review and see these things and walk off. It's for me challenging. So let's go preventive.
Right.
How can we take care of our environment? How can we enforce the laws against with these things? And so
it starts with us, really. It starts with you.
Yeah. Well, Mahama Yariga condemns military brutalities in Boku on Tuesday, vows to demand full probe. The Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Yariga, strongly condemned the alleged military brutalities inflicted on civilians in Boku on the night of Tuesday, describing the actions of the military as unacceptable and described very deep concern about it. It's not the case of, you remember, I said they are going to reprisal attacks.
Right.
When they killed that military personnel. Sir?
So the thing is, the guy was not dressed in his, that's what I heard, wasn't dressed in his military attire. So, I mean, then he was gunned down, but now they are, getting back to attack the civilians. And that's my problem. We should have a system where people who are innocent are not found in the middle of all these.
You said it as though I can even pick intelligence more than I'm sure the police service now. Because I know I can predict it.
We have a new IGP, he has a board, so we'll give him some time, I'm sure.
IGP, military and IGP, until they work together, and of course they'll be working together.
Where else can it, who will be the first point of call to pick information from? It's into the police services.
Oh, yeah, of course, because they are with the people.
Yes, so if we can probably, like you said, work together.
It's sad, the military has to understand that, look, you are not above the law. I think it has to be said. I don't know why I've said this over and over.
Is it that it has to be said or we have to drum it home?
No, but they should know.
said it time and over again.
That when one person is attacked, let the police speak intelligence, pick the person up, send the person to the... Rather than going into the community and beating the people up as though we are not paying you with our money. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, who do you think you are? You get into the... So what it means is that anybody that maybe attacks your person, In my home as well, you dare walk in there, do anything and walk out because just nobody will touch you. I'm not in a banana republic, but some of the military personnel and your actions, we will not hear anything out of it. No investigation, no reports, nothing, because they say it's all security. It does not have to come out. When you are beating the people publicly, you don't know it does not have to come out. So absurd how we do things here. My world.
Well,
no, we'll go to some other news, shall we?
Right. Government revokes mining license issued after December 7th. So I think some excavators, about 60 of them, have also been seized.
Yeah.
This is okay start of a good call, I think.
I don't know which president will be issuing things after December 7th.
You know, we had issues about that, and even employment. You remember that, right?
I don't know.
People were
yes,
just pushed
people are
into
struggling.
government. Yes, so that's why they're starting with those that had their license after December 7th. So probably to get into other dates, then we'll have to fully review.
So the fights, the noise, Dr. Kenashigbe's what coalition, all of these people, Woolers, whatever, Rocha and all of those, it amounted to nothing. Even after December 7th, there was a president seated and was issuing licenses as like buffalo.
At a point, I think there were about 1,200 licenses giving out in about 3 months or 4. You know, that was a big worry at the time. But it's good that we're solving these issues, and
There are
we're
people
starting right.
shouting, raising their fingers, calling it witch hunting.
Oh, it's not witch hunting, if you ask me. It's for a better tomorrow.
Right.
We're talking about fighting galamsey, and it starts with us. And if you're one who's had a license, so my point is that if you have a legit business, it shouldn't be a problem for you. Even if you were given the license after December 7th, it's okay. If they've revoked it, get back and present your documents. If you're eligible, why not? They'll give it to you.
Right.
So that is it's a legit thing that we're doing. You know, it's
Anyways.
not about witch hunting. I don't know why people are so politicized in everything.
It's sad. Anyways.
Oh, and the big case.
U.S. court awards Anas $18 million in the defamation case against Kennedy at Japan. And so the crux of the matter is that in 2018, Anas instituted some action at the High Court against Kennedy at Japan, praying for some damages worth 25 million cedis for defamation and quite a number of cases, quite a number of things that has been...
Charges.
Look, there was this, in 2023, there was this particular Justice Barr that gave a judgment ruling that Anas was not entitled to his claim.
Right.
But while he was doing that, he described the man who brought the case to the court as a blackmailer,
Yeah.
extortionist,
Blackmail journalist.
investigative terrorist, and more. Called the man names. He went to the Supreme Court for some interpretation, or if you like, otherwise. And 2 out of, was it the 5 or so? One had, if you like, had issues, but still agreed. As for the 3, the rubber stamped in. So, oh yeah, the judge did well. It was only Justice Kulendi that came out to say that, nah, it was so much of an abuse, judicial abuse on the man. Today, the man is at the appeals court.
Tables have turned.
No, he has been promoted to the man who insulted
Yeah.
Now the man has gone to US, gotten this case. To a lot of people who are watching this, it is a shame. It's a dark, you know, it taints some, you know, lot of things have been done to her. Well, the image is ours. We'll take the shame and we'll move.
No, but my point is, like you're saying, it's a dent on our judicial image. what then would be the credibility now of the court system? You know, at a point, I think last year or 2 years ago, we were talking about how the judicial system was flooded with, want of a better, political,
Yes.
you know,
And people who
judges
feel that
and lawyers.
they have blind loyalty
Right.
towards the people who appointed them.
Right. But this is an effect of it. So if we all would now have to be going to other countries or international courts to get justice for something that we can easily fix in our land. That's
Well,
not
also
very
because
good.
this was also made in the US, so that's why there was an opportunity.
Yes, for him to, but
As for
I
some
think-
of us who probably we might not get people to mention our cases in the US, we be here we did. But I can assure you, as much as we have bad nuts in that space, we also
Yeah,
have
there are
the
also
good
good
ones.
ones.
Someone like Justice Kulendi on this case, who made his case known, and today he's been vindicated. As for the other ones, we move on to
the least
international
said, the
news.
better.
As for the other ones, we move on to international news.
Okay, let's get to Somalia. Presidential convoy targeted by Al-Shabaab bomb attack and president unharmed. So the moment they just stepped out of the palace, there was a bomb attack, which means that they were monitored. They were literally followed for these to happen. This, I learned, is the second time there's been such an attack on the presidency. That's not a very good light.
And the case is that usually there might be bulletproof cars for the president. And so you who is following the president,
You shall die.
you are the one who is caught in this crossfire. Africa,
Yeah.
I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. M23 rebels enter another Eastern Congo town, defying calls for ceasefire.
I was really excited about the ceasefire, the peace talk that was supposed to happen on Tuesday. How many days away? This is Thursday.
Here we are.
Hey, today your tree is coming,
Oh,
pal.
it has come. It's all over the place. This is where we are at this point.
Well. Okay. Pilot killed as military jet crashes in Algeria. Naha TV says.
No. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh
Pilot
no.
killed.
Oh
as a
no.
military
So
jet.
when next you hear that a pilot is being paid so and so amount, giving the perks are good, don't think that they are just taking too much. It's one of these. Any little thing,
Yeah, they could lose their lives.
lose their lives.
Or thinking of the family
Yeah.
who they left behind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a very risky thing. Glorified bus driver.
Zimbabwe touts tremendous progress on land reforms as ruined U.S.-South Africa, ruined U.S.-South Africa ties. As for this land grabbing thing, I don't understand it all. I don't understand it. I don't understand why Trump thinks that we should, or the other national thinks that we should come to the table and negotiate with them. How dare you?
They feel they are a superpowered nation.
No, not even that. How dare you? No, can you go to the US and be grabbing land and be struggling land with their nationals? Those people? I mean, how dare people, and they think that they can come to Africa because they think we might not. My well, we should not get it.
when-
See, well, maybe just.
When somebody comes to you and presents something to you, okay, they expect that you know your worth and can fight for it.
No.
The moment you give them a leeway or you open little doors, we take grants from these people. We go cup in hand and ask for money from these people. So they feel that they have an upper hand. So they expect us to cower.
Oh, this is so convenient. People who, when you meet them, and probably you even talk about issues of you couldn't look. You are at a workplace elsewhere in the other countries, and you even ask them, "Are you married?" Oh,
Really, did you have to be so dramatic?
why are you asking me this question? My mental faculty has been tampered with. You don't. These are the people who. Oh, no, HR, they have asked me a question. I'm about to die.
Can't wait.
Next story, please. Next story. Let's move on. It's coming. As it's coming, it's going.
You didn't even finish. Let me give you your stone.
Give it to me.
Hungary bans LGBTQ plus pride marches for the fact that they can actually even gather.
Yeah.
And have the audacity.
Surely they shall gather.
But they shall scatter also in 7 different ways. That's what the ban is done.
Amen. In Jesus' name.
Please, human rights.
You right.
Human rights, every.
Well, Palestinians in Gaza flee their homes amid renewed Israeli escalation. Oh my word. Oh, no. Ceasefire, God, ceasefire. We pray. We pray for peace. We pray for peace. We pray for peace. Well, there we have it. There we have it. These are the news making headlines across the world and right here also in Africa.
Before we go, Gaza trauma surgeons says that half of patients injured in Israeli strikes were children. So that's a trauma surgeon saying that most of them that were injured were children. What do you expect? They are weaker.
Of course, they are.
Women, children,
yes.
More exposed to these things.
Right. Righty. Well, there we have it. These are the news making headlines, and we pray, just as always, for peace in Africa and elsewhere in the world. We pray for people to come to the table to speak about these things and see themselves.
Oh, cool.
And for me, it's Africa. Look, we are one. If not for anything at all, forget about my language. I cannot speak Swahili. I cannot speak the other languages. You cannot speak Ewe. You cannot speak Ga. You cannot speak Chi. But look at our skin. It's one. I might look like somebody who is from Nigeria. Then you go and see somebody face like this in South Africa. You see somebody like this in Zimbabwe. We are one. Can we just not become one? Can we just not? I'm African first before Ghanaian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
It always comes to what is happening to Nkrumah's dream of Africa. Even if we don't have a dream, he had a dream. How about we just take this as a torch and move ahead? Well, that's why we're here, right?
Right.
One conversation
At a time. We'll take a break at this point. When we come back, there's more on news review segment. Stay with us.
Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi presents Overwhelming Miracle Sunday on Sunday, 30th March 2025. Venue 31 Volta Street, adjacent Noble House Restaurant. Morning session 8 a.m. and evening session 5 p.m. Entry is free. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with anointed music ministry from ACP Kofi Sapon, Reverend Sami Obin Poku, The Blood Crew, and Nama Atayabua. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with words of wisdom from Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Don't miss out. Join Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi for the Overwhelming Miracle Sunday.
One upgrade is nice, but a double upgrade is amazing. And that's how we do it. Upgrade today to get even more with Step Up. If you're on GOtv Max and upgrade to GOtv Super, you'll get way more with GOtv Super Plus.
It's so cool!
Get big value. Get big entertainment.
Very good.
Perfect! Upgrade and get even more with GOtv.
Man.
GOtv. Love it.
We just go around just making statements that are not even biblical. God reveals to redeem. It's not in the Bible. God reveals, so we can walk, so we can enforce the word of God and the scriptures over the enemy's intent. Any hope and expectation the enemy has concerning your family and your loved one, by the eternal blood of Jesus, we override that hope. We override that expectation. Put your hands together and override it.
The Voice of Inspiration, weekdays and Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. only on Dominion TV.
I decree today that the power of God that is coming upon your life, no enemy will touch you and go free.
Experience the power. Take dominion.
Say in the name of Jesus. I prophesy. Doors of favor.
Action Chapel's Dominion Hour. Now, live, this and every Thursday on Dominion TV.
And from today, you will be stronger than any enemy.
Alrighty, thank you very much for joining us. We're excited that you can make some good company with us. But let me share some good news with you, right? Are you looking for an expert spine and stroke care for an affordable rate? Look no further. The Bank Hospital has a special offer just for you. Take the first step toward recovery with the specialist consultation available at a subsidized rate of 650 Ghana cedis for stroke care and 750 Ghana cedis for spine care. Get expert advice, personalized treatment plans, and the care you deserve every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hurry, because this offer is valid until March 31st. But that's not all indeed. Enjoy an exclusive 10% discount on Doppler scans, physiotherapy, and surgeries. Visit the Bank Hospital in Cantonment near Nafti Walk-in or book your appointment by calling 030-0302-739-373, 0302-739-373, or WhatsApp them on 0257-995-409. The Bank Hospital, good health for everyone. But remember, terms and conditions apply. Well, we're grateful to the Bank Hospital for providing healthcare delivery that's top-notch. Thank you for the care as always. So make sure that you always think, if you want healthcare delivery that's top-notch, just think the Bank Hospital, right? Our guest is in studio. Pastor Badi is a forensic scientist, works with the Ghana Armed Forces, also with Next Gen, Action Chapel International, also runs a podcast, Ask Buddy. He's here with us as always. He's a very smart gentleman, one that if you are giving birth to a son, you want your son to be like him.
Do the listeners know you have a master's?
Of course.
In public relations from Ghana Institute of Journalism.
No.
I'm just asking. It's a harmless question. And that's just one.
Let's go to the first. Let's go to the very first story.
Every day we are one.
Well, a very sad one for us because then again, the debilitating effect of this particular one. Narcotics Control Commission says it has arrested a long-time drug trafficking suspect, Uche Chukwu Chima, in a successful intelligence-led operation at Oyarifa, a suburb of Accra. He's 56-year-old and a Nigerian national who was apprehended on Tuesday. Look, we're talking about 192 kilogram of cocaine and 0.42 kilogram of heroin. Field tests confirmed that the substances are narcotics with an estimated street value of $2.1 million US.
I see. One man.
Talk to me about it. Who are the people who are able to buy cocaine? Not me.
You know, this is a question I've been asking for a very long time. I saw a drug addict once, and I was chatting with my friend. You know, I was going to give him money. You know those people that wipe the screens?
Absolutely.
And I felt like, oh, Charlie, the guy is trying. You know, I was going to go, and he said no. And I said, what kind of wicked this thing is that? And he said, oh, look at his lips, his face, and his demeanor. I said, yeah, obviously he's on drugs, but I mean, yeah. And he said, okay, you are supporting his drug addiction. So then it started a whole conversation about drugs. And my question to him was, where do they get the drugs to buy from? Who brings the drugs? Do we make it here or what? You know, and a little searching revealed that mostly they come through the land barriers.
Yes.
Togo,
Yes.
Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire. And then the rest come through mainly Tema ports.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how they're able to bypass the security checks to get into the country. I don't know if you heard about this, the Kenyan lady, I've forgotten her name. She was arrested by the Vietnamese government and she's been sentenced to death. And I think she was due to have been executed on Tuesday.
Right.
And the Kenyan government was doing everything it can to maybe commute it to a life sentence or something else. And the question many people were asking was, isn't it a bit too harsh or extreme to kill somebody for drug offenses? You have no idea what drugs does to a country.
Done to millions of people.
In a country, oh man.
That's the point.
Drugs. Yesterday, the Canadian foreign minister said that China had executed 4 of its nationals for drug offenses.
4 of its nationals?
Yeah, no, 4
okay.
Canadians, yes, for drug offenses. Right. And he was bemoaning it and saying, no, well, it's not cool, you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. But countries take drug offenses very seriously.
Yes.
Vietnam, Philippines, China, you are gone. Thailand, you would be killed.
Because also the culture.
Yes.
Because it's
low tolerance. Yes. Low tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
It is not just the fact that people are dying from drug use. It's the fact that few people sitting there perpetuating this thing are massively profiting.
Yes.
$2.1 million.
Just a
dollars,
192
kilos.
kg.
Yes. Oh, but 192 kg it's a lot too.
Oh, but also because of what comes in.
Yes.
So if it doubles, then you are looking $2 billion.
Big ups to the NACOC guys. You know, and this also goes to show the seriousness and efficiency of the kind of agencies that we have in the country. You know, as far as our security and protection is concerned, those guys are working.
Oh yeah,
these people are really working.
But also the issue of who calls who to say release who.
Yes.
So they go to apprehend. They come, start the case, they get frustrated because then we know. Because as I said, it's not like Koku says, oh, Koku is holier than thou, cannot smoke or cannot take cocaine. My people, I cannot buy. That's the point. I cannot afford it. That's the first point. I cannot buy
You can't buy it.
It's expensive.
Is it?
Why?
Because if not, then how do these underbridge boys, how are they able to afford it?
But that is why they have turned to smoking glue.
Oh God.
They cannot afford cocaine. The cocaine is too prestigious for them. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
Is to say that the top, there are people at the top who are profiting from this. It's not these guys.
Musicians,
exactly.
Celebrity-like guys.
They can call and say move. Money will move. You go to court, it moves.
We thank God for the arrest of this guy. I'm sure it will take a lot, but there's a lot more work to do, especially in this area. You know, there are many people who are behaving suspiciously in the country, and I really hope. Mame Tiwa Dankwa has been moved from NACOC. A new person has been appointed. I think she's now technical advisor to the Minister of Interior. Okay. So the new boss, Charlie, we love you. Right, we thank you also. More grease to your elbow.
Well, away from issues of drugs, let's do health as well. That also borders on our health. But more than 3,000 suspected cholera cases have been reported in a central region, with 260 confirmed. So far, 19 people have died from the disease. Otherwise, you're going to be say diseased, and you are. This was
the correct pronunciation.
Disease.
Disease. Yeah. It's coming from the person with the masters. Masters. You have an MA. Glory to God.
The people are also aware you have two. You are going to be doing another one.
Okay. It's on. Koku is on.
He's got 2 masters.
Koku is on.
This was revealed by the Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Agnes Chiama Anani, during the region's annual health sector performance review held in Cape Coast on Wednesday, 19th March. Now, this was what I was sharing with Biadela earlier, where I was saying that the focus is that she says there must be more investment in health infrastructure, which is needed to better handle such.
Well, the shocking part of this whole thing is that 4 health professionals have also been infected.
Yeah.
And we know how these infections come about. So I don't know whether it's because they were treating these guys, they also caught it, or I think the biggest danger, in some of these things comes from buying food from outside, because we don't know where they source their items from, especially foods that involve raw vegetables, like salads, indomie, you buy wache, you take salad, stuff like that. With the handling of it, sometimes they're supposed to use vinegar to, sanitize, quote unquote, and then, properly wash them. But they themselves doing the sanitation and the sanitizing, they are not properly equipped. They're using their raw hands. I remember going to buy fried yam from a particular place. That place came in highly recommended.
That's right.
I mean, every time you come to the office and during break, they'll be eating fried yam. Where did you get it? Oh, we got it from this place. Oh, we got it from this place. So one day I said, okay, let me go and help myself to this fried yam. I went there. Oh, Koku. I didn't buy and I never returned again. Flies. There were flies in the sieve, inside the sieve. And the woman was feeling free selling the thing.
Right.
I mean, she
was
happy. Because there was a queue. And I said, wait, do these people see what I'm seeing or not? And there was a coil, mosquito coil, that she was burning inside the sieve.
Now that's funny.
I mean,
no.
Smoked sausages. Smoked. In the sieve.
Oh, no.
So I stood there, I observed, I said, you know what, I can't do this to my body. I just left. And I left the general area because...
the challenge for me is the district assembly and their role.
In what? Some of the food vendors?
Absolutely.
How do you regulate them? Because these are entrepreneurs.
No.
They don't normally even go for permits. They don't go for permits.
So when you get them, what do you do?
Exactly.
Enforce it. Enforce it. Look, we have come to that point where we cannot...
Since yesterday, you switched your mercy off.
It has to be. We are getting to Ghana, the beacon of democracy, and we are struggling with cholera. 19 people are dead. Even COVID-19.
Hi.
Seth, how many people were dying? Malaria, people are dying more than COVID. Switch the messy batting off and let's deal with the issues.
Some of these people, single mothers taking care of 2-3 children.
You can do it right. Nobody's saying don't
sell small rice.
No, that's nobody's saying don't whatever. Get the place wherever you are going. Let it be tidy. Wear the basic things.
Right.
How much is
head cover?
What is this?
Yes. I mean, that one day I think is true.
We cannot compromise. And you see their health. Millions, thousands of people will buy.
Exactly.
And get infected.
Exactly.
Yet you say, I wanted. No. Switch it off. Switch it off. Switch it off.
Switch the messy batting off.
Please switch it off.
Cholera is not something we should be discussing in 2025.
Indeed.
I mean, cholera. And the rains are coming. The rains have not even come. So when the rains descend, some of these things come down to regulatory bodies regulation. And if it is not done properly, I don't know how it goes. If Doc was here, he would have told us how it goes in the Philippines.
Yes.
He's been everywhere before, so he would tell us.
We can only talk about.
We can talk about the Bedoman. This is our area, this is our yard. But I think going forward, the regulatory bodies really need to step up.
Yeah.
The food vendors, we are eating a thing. It's entering our bodies. We need to get it right and get it.
There's a man who is in charge of, who is the acting director of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba. I know he's one man who is who takes his job very seriously. I met him personally, a good friend of mine. Professor Kaba, please, deal with this. Deal with it.
Is it in his domain though?
Oh yeah, Ghana House says. So
how
you
they
have
regulate the food vendors?
So no, what you do is, because it's you have to put together the stakeholders.
Right.
So it's not only the homes, people's gutters, all of these things.
Yes.
So you're going to
Yes.
work with the assembly, you're going to work with all the stakeholders, but you have to lead the charge because it's got to do
with health, right?
Matters and all. So Professor Akaba, if you were watching this or you happen to watch this, you know I believe in you. Please deal with this. You can't do this. Deal with it. No, when you go strong and people are complaining, I will be the only one standing for it.
Hey, easy.
Because it's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Yariga, has strongly condemned the alleged military brutalities inflicted on civilians in Boku on the night of Tuesday, 18th of March. Describing the actions of the militaries as unacceptable, he expressed deep concern over reports that women, children, and elderly residents were subjected to violence following the killing of a military officer by unknown gunmen. Please, let's come to studio. I have a message for my brother.
I was really hoping today we would talk about this.
When this news broke out,
that
the man was killed,
right?
I said it here. We can even go to the tape. Could have cut it and played it to say that I knew the indiscipline of the Ghana Armed Forces is going to be brought to bear.
Indiscipline. Yesterday we were sitting here talking about the discipline of the Ghana.
Yes, and that's why I said the indiscipline part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Well, how do you? Is it the absence of, forgive my language, war, where you have to go and meet other parties elsewhere to fight that? If we kill one,
you've killed all of us.
Absolutely. So what do we do? So is it the case that if my family is caught in the same action, I should go and bring more?
No, the action is condemnable.
No,
it's not supposed to be.
Okay, let's rest on that. Let's condemn the action.
Yes, it is. Because we live in a country that is governed by rule of law.
Absolutely.
You don't take matters into your own hands.
Yes.
No matter what. Even if you catch a thief in the act who has stolen, you don't lynch him.
Yes.
It's not on. You know, even as per the rules of the Ghana forces, it is not done. If the soldiers involved are apprehended by the military police, they will face the military.
I hear there's a very silent rule that covers these people.
The thing is just...
We will not come for you, but we've got to go for them. So when they go for them...
Then they release them. Oh no, that's not the case at all. Like we were discussing yesterday, just don't be caught. Just don't be caught. You know, I don't know if you remember... Okay, I can't discuss that. You know, the Ghana Armed Forces takes infringements very, very seriously. If you are caught, you will have yourself to blame. You know, many times the reason this is a bit dicey or tricky is the fact that it's one of our own that has been killed.
Yes.
And the guy
just like any other.
He was unarmed, walking on foot. He was targeted, shot, and killed.
Just like any other person.
He's not any other person. This is a guy. You see, killing people have different value. That's why the president moves with a security detail.
Yes.
Yes, he's not like any other person. The value of people differ based on what they offer to the society. Koku, you are not like any other person.
Says who?
You're a playwright. You're a presenter. You see, you're not like any other person. So you taking off somebody like you, it's like taking off like 5 people or 6 people. People have different value. It's true. We need to face it. People are not the same. You know, insulting a chief is not the same as insulting someone else. You know, so this is somebody who has, you know, when I was taking the oath, the Armed Forces oath, at some point I had to stop. I was like, hey, is this real? They said, hey, will you say it or you will say it? So because he said, you promise that you serve the country at the peril of your own life on land, on sea.
As a civilian.
Yes, you have to put your hand up and say it, that you will die for the country. And in one time you can be called upon, hey, what am I? Please, you should have explained these things to me before we got here. You know, and that is a guy who was taking that oath. If push comes to shove now, they say Ghana is whatever. A gun will be put into his hand and he'll be on the front lines. You will be at home and praying for him that he succeeds. So you don't kill such a person. But that being said, you can't also take measures into your own. Okay, so you have gone to beat these people. Now these people also retaliate. Then you retaliate. Then they retaliate. You see now, chaos. It doesn't make any sense.
Women and children. So are you telling me that the women, the children, the intelligence has told the military that when they see children, the children could also kill their person?
I think they're just trying to send a message.
What message?
But they will be apprehended. Relax for us. They will be apprehended. This and remember, Mahama Yaga says he's going to, make sure the full probe is done.
Well, how many times? The Ashaiman probe. The Ashaiman case.
Okay, this morning, dear, I'm so please on the AC, please. On the AC. Let them watch me.
Because I just feel that even if you see women and children, and I'm sure by this time you should have picked intelligence, that you should be from a certain quarters. So when you see children, you as a soldier, your heart.
When you're angry, when you're angry,
then we should take that
I'm not
anger.
justifying what they did. What they did is absolutely wrong.
What?
It should not be happening.
Women and children.
And elderly people.
We even know war in war times when you are sent
the
there.
Geneva Convention prohibits all that.
So this, you see, this is why I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
That I don't even know. I might know it's been nuanced. But there are conventions that when you see go to war and you see women and children, should you kill them?
No.
But you
and
are
elderly
beating
people.
them.
Even your own. When you capture your enemy, the Geneva Convention spells out how you should treat your enemy.
Exactly.
You can't even treat your enemy anyhow.
So why is it?
Because they are human beings like
we
you.
are said to be one of the best. The Ghana Armed Forces is one of the best on the continent.
Yes.
We do this.
But we beg. It's just a small thing. We'll solve it. We'll solve it.
Not. It will continue because after that Shaman, there were more before that Shaman.
Yeah.
Anytime you beat us, so even if you beat them, they get into an altercation with you. They come after you and you also just retaliate. They will call everybody who can beat anyone they see. What is this?
It's not supposed to happen.
Ghana?
It's not supposed to happen. And if the people are found, Mahama Yarga said he appealed to the military high command and he wasn't heeded or something of the sort. I can't say that's true, because I don't think that military high command will ignore and still give a command. These things that happen normally are rogue activities. So it's not like somebody has said, let's go and beat these people. The boys now, they organize themselves and they say, hey, what they are trying to do is to terrify the community and to let them verify and to let them. So just in case you are thinking of killing somebody, you need to check to see if they are army first, because you know that you kill one army person, the whole community is in trouble. That's what they are trying to do, just so that people don't victimize army people and put them into danger. So yeah. Okay, it won't happen again, eh? We are sorry.
It will. If we don't nip this in the bud. A United States court has ruled in favor of investigative journalist.
Oh, yes. My favorite story.
Awarding him $18 million in damages in defamation lawsuit against former Sing Central MP Kennedy Ejipon. The ruling delivered by the Essex County Superior Court in the United States follows a lawsuit and has filed over comments made by Ejipon during a September 7, 2021 interview on the Daddy Fred show. So there we are. He branded Anas as a criminal and a thief.
Yeah. I mean, this man has said a lot of very loose things in the past. I mean, he owns a television station and a radio station. When he goes on there, it's like he owns the world. And do you know what he said in his defense? That he only made those statements in a moment of political heat.
Yeah. He always makes comments, unsavory comments.
His comments were not to be taken literally.
Interesting.
You see, this thing was sent to all the way to the Ghana Supreme Court, and they dismissed it.
Yeah.
Because you have power in Ghana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now dribble the US judicial system and let's see $18 million.
Yes.
When you finish paying, next time you mind your words and mind your language.
Unfortunately, there is a man who might be brought again to be a president of our country called Ghana.
This man, you see, when you are choosing people to lead, I've not been able to accomplish what he's been able to accomplish. And I hear he's a very generous man. But leading an entire country requires a level of diplomacy that I think is lacking. And I say that emotional intelligence. And I say that based on evidence, things we've seen, things we've heard him say. When
like my watch
is more
whatever. Expensive. How much are you wearing?
Yes. You know, when the military thing happened with Ashaman, he was the parliamentary select committee head of defense.
Yes.
And he made some I was like, why do you talk like this? You talking gra like that. It doesn't prove anything. Exactly. It really doesn't prove anything. You can be soft-spoken and still be stern. Yes. You can be soft-spoken and still be, leadership requires a certain level of diplomacy, as it were. I don't think he has it. If the MPP decides to go with him as their presidential candidate, well, let's see how it goes. And he's a popular man. People like him for his philanthropy and his generosity.
That's not.
But I mean, certain utterances he's made in the past, Charlie, not cool at all.
At all. Well, basically, that's it. Is there any other story that we could do?
The Galamsey story about the revocation.
Absolutely. Touch on that. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Kofi Boa, has announced that 7 out of 9 forest reserves
have been reclaimed. I'm even talking about the part where he said all licenses that were issued after December 7th have been revoked, and there are 100 of them. 100. I mean, and no, the 100 car was the last week before the 100 power over to John Mahama. The last week, they issued 100 licenses. To who? How? Why? And it looks like we are really playing with this thing. Are we aware that it's our water bodies we are talking about?
Water bodies.
Who doesn't drink water? There are certain things, physiological needs according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Everybody, it touches everybody. Rich, poor, big, small, fat, slim, everybody. So we shouldn't be playing with science. We are playing with our lives. In this Galamsey issue, it's like we're dancing around the issue. We can't really take decisive action. We are warming up to it. We've had enough of this, slowness and laxity. And the Blue Water Guard, kudos. But from all indications, they are up against a force. These Galamseyers are armed. This morning, everybody's concern, everywhere you tune into, the media's primary concern is 400 people who are trained, who are not armed, are going to you are just sending them to their deaths. Because these Galamseyers are not going to have mercy on them. So I think that, we are making strides little by little, but the pace is a bit too slow. Considering the matter at stake, I think we should move a little bit faster and be more decisive in taking some of these actions.
Finally, it has to be said, it is alleged that there are 3 MPs that I have names of. They import drinking water into this country for their families to drink. So while you are there,
they don't drink Vena.
They don't drink our water, not even the bottled water. The containers that come, they are shipped for these people, these 3 MPs, and that is just the 3 that we know. If they can do it, a lot more are doing it. So sit there and think that when probably I'm speaking the way I speak, it is a danger that is looming.
Hey, Charlie.
They are importing drinking water into Ghana.
What do they know that we don't?
They are not white, so it's not experts. Ghanaian MPs who sit there and speak a lot of English. One, he can speak English for God.
Hey, Koku.
He's importing drinking water, but yet he stood and allowed that president to do this to us. And they are still allowing now to do this to us. Look, withdraw all the licenses, ban Galamsey, get in there, use UN, get everyone out of that space. Let's reclaim our forest.
Yes.
We can do it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, they said that this morning, a Joy News report said an equivalent of 23 football fields worth of lands have been destroyed so far.
23
football fields.
You know how football field is huge.
All
righty. Thank you very much, Pastor Badi. We're grateful. Thank you very much indeed for coming as always. It's always a delight to have you in studios. We'll take a break at this point. When we come back, the sports. Stay with us.
Today, that the power of God that is coming upon your life, no enemy will touch you and go free.
Experience the power. Take dominion.
Say the name of Jesus. The name of Jesus. I prophesy. Doors of favor.
Action Chapel's Dominion Hour. Now, live, this and every Thursday on Dominion TV.
And from today, you will be stronger than any enemy.
Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi presents Overwhelming Miracle Sunday on Sunday, 30th March 2025. Venue 31 Volta Street, adjacent Noble House Restaurant. Morning session 8 a.m. and evening session 5 p.m. Entry is free. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with anointed music ministry from ACP Kofi Sapon, Reverend Sami Obin Poku, The Blood Crew, and Nama Atayabua. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with words of wisdom from Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Don't miss out. Join Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi for the Overwhelming Miracle Sunday.
Are you ready for the drama? Come on, hey, I try. Come on, everybody, let's go. Come on. Hey, come on, everybody, I try. Come on, I try. Hey, I try. Come on. Everybody, now, let's go. Everybody now,
Ready and fired up for some sports, okay? I'm excited about something because at the end of the day, we still go to US. It's not a dead dream, no, not at all. The president says that we haven't given up on the national team, and I side with him. I mean, there's always the love, the joy when your national team is playing, whether they'll score or not. But this time around, we're going for the win. So I'm fired up for sports. Callistus, good morning.
Good morning, Biadela.
Yeah. Thank you. This is how we are going to. We're winning. Are you ready for Madagascar?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Tomorrow in Madagascar is next week.
Yeah, but are you ready?
Of course. Yeah.
You people.
Today we'll have a pre-match press conference at Accra Sports Stadium.
Okay.
Where the teams will be speaking, their head coaches, and of course, a player will be representing the playing squad and
all right.
to the media. But over the week, we've seen some terms of high-powered delegation visiting the team at their training grounds. In fact, yesterday we had the president, the first gentleman of the land, His Excellency John Dramani
Mahama. Okay. Nice. I think that the president coming in to talk to the players yesterday was the cake for me. I am hoping that would be the motivation, because he also says that he knows that they don't pay them as much as they do when they are in their individual clubs. But, I mean, why not? the fact that they love their country and would play for them, for us, okay, it should be shown on the pitch, right? So communication, commitment, love for country, all of that. We're expecting all of that to be displayed on the pitch tomorrow. Carlos,
Yeah, so that is it. So it's good news and good luck for the Black Stars.
Yeah,
and then they know
man.
that the nation is in support. We can't afford not to go to the World Cup. Yes, we can forgive them for not going to Morocco 2025 for the AFCON. But for the World Cup that will be staged in United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Let's remove the Mexico car over there, but United States of America and Canada. And I'm sure once you qualify to, you're going to be in Canada or US by all means, inshallah.
So that's it. Trump comes to say that he has cancelled the endorsement.
Sure, for the way. Like, we're not going to agree. We're not going to agree. You know how we've been waiting and patiently praying and waiting for this challenge.
Anyway, let me just leave that aside.
Like, tell me that, in fact, if to the World Cup, about half of Ghanaian youth, or more than half, will jackpot.
The jackparism.
The 2026 World Cup, more than half. Because I think 2018 in Australia, which is about 11 hours or more from Ghana. Do you know the number of people who went and never came back? And in Australia, Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, do you know the number of people who have left and have never come back? There's this Paralympic Games happening, and then the Paralympic team had to leave Ghana to Norway, and they never came back. They sent 2 people to go and look for them in Norway too, and they also didn't come back. So, Charlie, you can just imagine. I tell you what,
my motherland.
If they bring a plane, an aircraft landed in Kotoka that maybe we are needed or like we should come. By the time we in Accra hear that, oh, there's a plane that is moving to US or Europe.
It's already full.
Oh, people from North will feel it before we in Accra. People from the North, Kumasi and all those areas will feel it before we in Accra will hear it. But then,
well, I love my country. I'll stay here. It's forgotten country.
Okay.
Anyway, take us away.
Thank you very much, Biadela. This is still Sports Break right here on Wake Up Africa on Dominion TV. I'm Carl, the Sports Journal, and we'll be doing this more. We have more coming up, but before then, let's go for a break. We'll be back with more. All right, so from the breaking news to the thrilling match highlights, this is Sports Break, where we serve you nothing but the very best to get you ahead in the world of sports. Now, let's begin from our very first story, and that is from the world of table tennis. There's been rankings of table tennis now.
Every morning begins with you, your routine, your goals, your journey. Get ready for the day with us by your side. This is Wake Up Africa, your inspirational morning ride. We bring you the energy you need, the insight, and the motivation to kickstart your day. Wake Up Africa is here to connect you to the latest news, your front row seat to all the sports action. Get moving with us for a healthier you. Wake Up Africa gives you daily forecast, keeping you prepared for whatever comes your way. Join us each morning as we start your day together.
My name is Kokulumo, and welcome to Wake Up Africa.
is a daily necessity for daily triumph.
Africa, we must unite.
We are getting Abrahamic rewards, but we are running away from Abrahamic responsibilities.
Where should Africa sit and stand in this new world order?
Africa.
We just go around just making statements that are not even biblical. God reveals to redeem. It's not in the Bible. God reveals so we can war, so we can enforce the word of God and the scriptures over the enemy's intent. Any hope and expectation the enemy has concerning your family and your loved one, by the eternal blood of Jesus, we override that hope. We override that expectation. Put your hands together and override it.
The voice of inspiration. Weekdays.
...2025, and that is for the boys, and then the girls, we have Ghana playing as host, Morocco, Malawi, DR Congo, Uganda, Gambia, Benin, and of course South Africa. So this is going to be slated for in Ghana, and that is to unearth talent in terms of football from the African continent by way of bringing the schools into that particular one. So you have 8 boys team and 8 girls teams from across the continent that will compete for the coveted title. That is between 21st and 26th of April 2025. These rising stars will battle for continental glory at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium in Legon. The competition will see teams split into 2 groups, with the top 2 advancing to the semi-final. Then we have the semi-final, then of course the final from that particular format. So kudos to the teams, and we are hoping to have them and also bring you exclusives in that particular one coming up next month. All right, so that is that for the CAF Africa Schools Challenge or Championship Cup. Away from that, let's look at the fixtures as we are on FIFA international break. Yesterday, we realized there are games that happen on the African continent. And today, Eswatini will be playing against Cameroon, Liberia will play against Tunisia, Central African Republic will play against Madagascar, Mozambique versus Uganda, Sierra Leone will play against Guinea-Bissau, Zimbabwe will play against Benin, Cape Verde versus Mauritius, Malawi play Namibia, and Libya will also play against Angola. In the World Cup qualifiers on the African continent this week, Gabon will play against Seychelles, Gambia, Kenya, Comoros, Mali, Botswana versus Algeria, Equatorial Guinea will play against Sao Tome and Principe, Burkina Faso will play against Djibouti, DR Congo will play against South Sudan, South Africa will play against Lesotho, Rwanda, Nigeria, Burundi versus Ivory Coast, or the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire. Ghana will play tomorrow around 7 p.m. at Accra Sports Stadium against Chad. Ethiopia versus Egypt. Guinea versus Somalia. Niger will play against Morocco. Togo versus Mauritania. Sudan versus Senegal. Eswatini versus Mauritius. Kenya, Gabon, Namibia, Equatorial Guinea. So those are the fixtures for the World Cup qualifiers in the African continent. And we'll go straight to Europe, where UEFA Nations League returns. Croatia will play against France this week. Denmark versus Portugal. Italy will play against Germany. Netherlands feature against Spain, Armenia, Georgia, Turkey, Hungary, and then Austria versus Serbia. That is that for UEFA Nations League. Other matches coming up in Europe is Bulgaria, Ireland, Greece, Scotland, Kosovo versus Iceland, Slovakia will play against Slovenia, Slovakia versus Slovenia, Ukraine versus Belgium. And that is that for UEFA Nations League. And when we move on to World Cup qualifiers in the South American region, that is the CONMEBOL, we have Paraguay versus Chile, Brazil will play against Colombia, Peru will play against Bolivia, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Uruguay will play against current World Cup world champions Argentina. And in Asia, we have Australia versus Indonesia, Japan versus Bahrain, South Korea will play against Oman, Iran will play against United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan versus Kazakhstan, Qatar, North Korea, Iraq, Kuwait, Jordan, Palestine, Saudi Arabia versus China. All right, so that is that for the upcoming fixtures for the FIFA international break, where I will have a lot of World Cup qualifying games happening on 3 continents. That is Asia, Africa, and of course South America. And in Europe, they're playing the UEFA Nations League. And now to our Black Stars. They're playing tomorrow around 7 p.m. at Accra Sports Stadium versus Chad. And the team have been training since Monday. Monday was 9 players, and on Tuesday they had a full house of 23 players, including Thomas Partey, Kudus Mohammed, Inaki Williams, and Antoine Semenyo, and a host of other players. And there's been high-powered visits and delegation to the team, motivates them and also encourage them to at least make sure they qualify to World Cup 2026. And on that, Ghana Football Association President Ket Edwin Simon Okweku, Executive Council member for CAF, had this to say to the team.
Welcome back home. Today, I have come with a very big contingent. You can see. Usually, we are a very small contingent. The people you see here are members of the board of the FA. We call it the Executive Council. And our 10 regional chairmen, which is the regional ministers of football. We ask all of them to come here, to come and show support to yourselves as you get ready for the battle on Friday. Indeed, you've already met my honorable minister. Some of you, okay. So, on my right, the honorable minister for sports and recreation, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams. I don't want to be. So he is the sector minister for sports and recreation. And then next year, you see where we are. He's a new landlord. He's Yao Ampofo Ankra, the Director General of the National Sports Authority. And next to me is the Chief of Staff of the National Sports Authority. Is that correct? How you doing this? Okay. Our presence is very simple. To show our love, to show our support, and to tell all of you that Ghana is behind you. And Ghana will be here on Friday to show their love. Just have the trust in each other. Let's believe in each other. And let's stay together on the pitch for Ghana. Thank you.
All right, so that is some words of motivation from the president of the Ghana Football Association and his team to the Black Stars, and kudos to them. And yesterday we had the visit from the office of the president himself, John Dramani Mahama, visiting the team and also sharing some words of motivation as the team prepares to face Chad. And tomorrow around 7 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium. So that is that for sports for today. This is still Sports Break right here on Wake Up Africa with Mikal, the sports journal, and Biadela. Thank you very much for having me. Kudos. I hope tomorrow we'll be at the stadium.
Most definitely.
It's
In
Friday.
spirit
It's Friday.
and
Let's
truth.
go. Let's go enjoy a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm sure I'll be there with the Kokus. Because,
All right.
that would,
Yeah.
you know,
It's tomorrow the birthday. No, it's Saturday. Saturday.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Callistus.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to win, okay? You guys should keep praying for Ghana. We're going to win. We'll go to US, okay, in 2026. All right. So thank you so much, Decor Planners, for putting up a beautiful set for us. We always enjoy it when we look at ourselves. We're like, okay, we look very African, and that is the job of the Decor Planners. They're located at East Legon, Adringano, in Numtesa Avenue, and whatever it is that you want, weddings, engagement, baby christening, gifts, engagement, wrapping, bouquet and floral arrangement, funeral, etc., the Decor Planners has got you covered. You should call them. The numbers are displayed on the screen. Check them out on Insta, also at the Decor Planners. And we're also excited to be associated with the Bank Hospital. The Bank Hospital is the best place, like a one-stop shop for all things health, okay? They're at Cantonment near Nafti. You can get in there and get your health check, and that's it for the Bank Hospital. Are you ready for some health conversation? Today is Ask the Doctor. So you can call, ask anything that concerns your health, and I'm sure the doctor will be sure to answer all of that. We'll be back.
I want to welcome you to Wake Up Africa Morning Show. If Africa has ever needed to wake up, it's now. I promise you that this Wake Up Africa Morning Show will impact your life. It will illuminate you. The Bible said that thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You need this insight. You need the understanding required to make all the difference in all of our lives. I want you not just to tune in to the Wake Up Africa Morning Show, but I want you to be a sponsor. I want you to partner with us as we take this Wake Up Africa Morning Show, the inspiration it brings, the impact across all Africa, to homes, to individuals, impacting lives. Join us to make a difference. It is said and believed that in this life, what you do to change the life of others matters than what you acquire for yourself. It is believed that it's not what you have, what you possess that matters, but the difference you made in the life of others. I believe as you partner with Wake Up Africa Morning Show, you'll be joining us to make a difference in the life of so many people out there. Partner with us, and every time we touch a life, you are blessed. Every time we impact a family, you'll be remembered for good. God bless you. Looking forward to partnering with you and tuning in to Wake Up Africa Morning Show.
Step up with DStv and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale. Incredible!
If you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DStv.
Okay, welcome, and let's get into your health matters. Very important. Today is Ask the Doctor. So on Tuesday, we started to talk about, we continued the sickle cell disease conversation, which got pretty much intense, and people started to ask a lot of questions. And today, we're giving you the chance to ask the doctor anything that is bothering on your health. And even if you've been to the hospital, you still don't have clarity on what's happening to you, why not? You should just calling. So the phone lines are opened, okay? Calling and then be a part of it. And you can also drop messages on our socials, is My Dominion TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, and all our socials. We'll be sure to get them. And you can also be a part of today's conversation. Well, before we introduce the doctor from the Bank Hospital, there are a few things that you should know. There's a spine and stroke camp campaign, okay? So if you're looking for an expert spine and stroke care at an affordable rate, the Bank Hospital has a special offer for you. So you have to take the first step towards recovery with a specialist consultation available at a subsidized rate of $650 for stroke care and then $750 for spine care. You get expert advice, personalized treatment plans, and care that you deserve. And that's for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the offer is available till March 31st. And you should enjoy that. But that's not all. You can also enjoy an exclusive 10% discount on Doppler scan, psychotherapy, and then surgery. So you should visit the Bank Hospital at Cantonment near Nafti. Walk in or book your appointment by calling 0302 739 3730, 302 739 373, or you can also WhatsApp them on 0257-995-405. And you know that the Bank Hospital is more concerned about your health. Good health for everyone. And that's it for the Bank Hospital. So let's get on with conversations now, shall we? Good morning, the doctor from the Bank Hospital.
Good morning, the precious.
Please leave that for the weatherman. We need to find, maybe I'll be the best nurse for the consulting room or something like that. So people have been asking questions. First off, it's about the skin. Because I'm a woman, I'm more concerned about my skin, right? So it says that what causes acne and how do treatments vary based on age and skin type? Acne. Yeah.
So there are, when there's some people have dry skins, and some people tend to have very oily skins, right? And some people tend to have, let's say there's a hair follicle that perhaps has been stuck within the skin and is trying to get out, and then these glands produce oil and it's stuck within. So because of that, it tends to form like an elevation, which we see as acne, right? So they are all coming from a particular hair follicle. So if you look at the skin, so you have lots of hairs. But then again, okay, well, yeah, but then you still have pores, sweat pores,
right.
Yeah, and then for some people, they tend to have very oily skin that tend to, build within the skin, and then that's beneath the skin, I beg your pardon, and then tend to show as acne, right? And when it comes to treatment, I think it varies from person to person, right?
Why?
It varies from person to person, really. I mean, there are general things that we can say you should do: wash your face often, and all that. Try to avoid sun exposure, which really you can't really do if you're in Ghana because you have to thaw and all that.
Is that why people go for sunscreens?
Yeah, some people tend to do sunscreen, and because generally it helps. When you're exposed to sunlight for a long period of time, it predisposes you to skin cancer, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so the sunscreen actually helps.
Yeah, actually does help. Limits the rays from the sun,
How do you know which one is good, the sunscreen? What are some of the things you should be looking out for?
So when it comes to sunscreens, I think the dermatologists are best in handling that.
Right.
Because they have seen a number of sunscreen, and then it varies from person to person. It's just like saying you taking penicillin and someone else taking penicillin. Maybe you have penicillin allergy. So when you take it, you react to it.
Right.
But when someone else takes it, he does not react to it. So the same way, you never know until you are exposed to it, right? So that's why it's not good to use a medication and then say, oh, because it worked for you, You generalize it. So you tell all your friends and family, go and buy this medicine without consulting your doctor before starting them. So you realize that people take certain medication, let's say ibuprofen, and they work for them with their pain. And they tell their friends, oh, go and buy it, not knowing that your friend has stomach ulcer. And this is contraindicated with the patient with stomach ulcer because it will worsen your condition. You see, something as simple as brufen, would worsen your condition because you don't have stomach ulcer, but this person A has stomach ulcer, and you've introduced him to it. And without him knowing, he keeps taking it over and over again. The next time you are coming to the hospital, you're coming with severe stomach pain or tummy pain, right? So you have to determine the specifics for a particular person. Some people tend to have used, and then again, it varies from product to product. So with that, the dermatologist will determine that, no, with this product, I have seen that over time it had helped. You started on this. If you think that it is not going to help, and I'll switch it, right? So basically that. Dermatologists are like the mainstay when it comes to skin conditions.
To skin conditions.
Yeah.
Interesting. But does it go? Is it curable?
Yes, it is. Acne is curable.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. That's great.
Well, have you ever heard somewhere that they said acne?
I mean, you see, okay, you meet ladies like, oh, I had this, and then it goes and it comes. It doesn't really heal. So that's why I'm thinking that.
It is curable. But the fact that it comes back doesn't mean that it was not cured. If you have malaria and we cure you of the malaria, and you go 6 weeks and you come back with malaria, doesn't mean we didn't cure the old malaria. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So the fact that it comes back.
I see. Okay, so this one has to do with mental health. It says that how can an individual with schizophrenia manage the condition? Schizophrenia. Wow, that's a huge one.
Yeah, so schizo, I always say that mental health needs more sunlight, more candor, more unashamed conversations, right?
Yeah.
Because in our part of the world, you see a person with schizophrenia, and then you tag him a mad person.
Take us through what it is. I mean, I don't even know why very, very... Okay, we have Rosemary on the line.
Okay.
Morning, Rosemary.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, then how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. And you?
Okay, I'm also fine.
Great.
Please, I want to ask the doctor, how will I know I have allergies?
How would you know you have allergies?
Yes.
Right.
But sometimes I keep getting food and I'm getting some resistance. So I want to know.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Rosemary. So Rosemary wants to know how to find out she has allergies. I'm sure she reacts to certain things that she eats, and she doesn't really know what it is.
Yeah. So allergies are things that are quite common in our part of the world, most especially because we are exposed to certain toxins in the atmosphere, especially in Accra, where we have a lot of, companies, organizations, air pollutions here and there, and all that. So how do you know you have allergy? You have to be exposed to an allergen, right, which is a causative agent, right?
Okay.
So, and when you show that reaction, that's how you know. So sometimes we do allergen testing, but you can't really test every single thing in this world to know that you react to A, B, and C. You only get to know you react to it when you are exposed to it, right? Some people are allergic to dust, so their carpets, the dust, when they start sweeping, when the dust comes in, then they start having, either difficulty in breathing, or they start having rashes all over their body, like chest tightness and all that. Then those are some of the symptoms that show that you are allergic to
it doesn't mean you're asthmatic.
No, it doesn't mean you are asthmatic. You can have a pure allergy without being asthmatic.
I see.
But
I'm going to have to put a pause on that.
Okay.
Because Charles from Mallam Junction is on the line. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, madam. Yeah, I wanted to start off from Doc. I have a similar issue the lady just brought across about this allergy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an aged person. My age is almost into about, let's say, 50s to 60s, and my late 50s. And I've been having this frequent cold, and I don't know if that is genetic. My son is equally having similar, And I keep on asking that I saw Doc was trying, I heard Doc was trying to, it's not asthmatic. But I've also gone through asthmatic checks and stuff. I've never had that thing. What causes this? And I'm so confused. If doctor elaborates it for me, I'll be pleased. It's a long time problem. Over ages now. So doctor, please.
Sure, thank you. So it ties to the very first question. But he says that he has this cold, never really goes, and that his son also has it, so he's thinking it's quite generic. He also went for an asthmatic test. Like I was asking, I mean, you can have all these allergies, but it's not asthma. So he wants to know what it is. And
I think you should go for that. I don't know what test he went for. He called it asthmatic test, but sometimes you need to be sure, especially because it has shown, familial predilection. So you have to be sure that, are you sure this is not asthma? But then again, he has to go into details as to the symptoms that he's having. Are you having difficulty in breathing? Are you wheezing? So it's like you're hearing the person breathe, but it's whistling. It's like it's whistling,
okay.
So that's showing that the airways are tight. So it's difficult for the air to come out. So, the smaller airways are what we call alveoli.
All right.
So the blood comes in, the air comes into the lungs, and then they are just like this. So the air comes in and goes out. Normally comes in and goes out. So comes in and goes out. You breathing in and out. But for one with asthma, you have hyperreactive airway, where sometimes there are contractions of the airway or there are secretions in the airway. So now that narrows the entrance of the air. So now when the air comes in, it's difficult to go out. So it's coming out, it's like blowing a whistle. So that's what you hear. You can hear them wheezing, right? So you want to be sure that that's not actually asthma for something that has, familial predilection, father, child, and all that. But then again, it could also be a pure allergy where there is something in the atmosphere in your room that you are allergic to. Do you get it? Like I mentioned, the dust. Maybe you are allergic to it, but you've not paid attention to it. So you realize that you are always having these allergic reactions. Or you notice that you have a pet, a dog, and the furs from the dog, you can be allergic to it without even knowing that you're always playing with a dog and you're always getting recurrent, difficulty in breathing, rashes, fever, running nose, headache, flu symptoms. But that's what you are allergic to, but you keep using it all the time. So I'll tell him that what he should do is to keep an allergy note or an allergy notepad. So whenever you have that symptom, write the date down, write the time down, and write what circumstances were happening at the time when you had it. Because it's difficult to actually tell what exactly is causing it. So you write that down, and even when you come to the, we'll tell you to do this, keep that note. So you write, because gradually you get to know that, okay, whenever I go to bath, I'm in the washroom, then I start having this symptom. There's something in the washroom. Then you start writing it that maybe I had it on Tuesday, I was bathing. My son too had it on Tuesday and he was bathing. Or maybe when you go to bed, you frequently start when you are in your bedroom. Then you start, streamlining the causative agent
to put
of what exactly is causing
on
it.
that, because Mariam is calling from Malam. Mariam from Malam. Good morning, Mariam.
Good morning.
How are we?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm amazing. Please ask your question.
I wanted to ask the doctor, this is concerning mental health.
Right.
And actually, I'll use myself for example. I'm an introvert. I don't go out. And I find it difficult confining in people. I'm the type who talks to myself. I create my own world where I think everything is perfect.
Okay. Mariam?
Actually,
hi, Mariam.
Yeah.
I like your submission and I love your voice, but you're going to have to speak up a little louder, if that would help, please.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, thank you. So, I'm the type who talks to myself. I like to create my own world. Where I actually watched the movie and I think I tried comparing, I think something similar to schizophrenia.
Okay.
Because I've not been to the hospital to checkup, but I think it's something slightly weaker because I try to do things to make myself comfortable, which I know is hurting others. And I don't actually know what's wrong with me, but I try to compare it with schizophrenia.
Sure. That's so. Mary, I wanted her to talk about schizophrenia. I don't even know why very terrible diseases have very nice names. Schizophrenia, like you said, schizo. Sounds like someone's guy name. But she's saying that she actually watched a movie that opened her up to check her routine or to check her life and to probably it gave her a bit of insight as to whether she could be schizophrenic or not. Because she says she's an introvert, she speaks to herself, she has her own world that she lives in, and probably to the next person is strange. So she wants to know if that's schizophrenic or not. But I want you to complete that solution you were giving, the pad.
Yes, and allergies.
Yeah, so that before we do this.
So the second caller, I don't remember his name. But yes, so he has to do that to be able to identify, since it's something that has frequently been happening, so keep a notepad. Whenever you start having that symptom, it could maybe be in the evening, just do a rundown of your day. Where have you been to? What did you come in contact with? Just do that. You'll be surprised. Maybe at the first few weeks, it might not make sense. But when you go back in time to tally, you realize that whenever you are at this place, or whenever you use this, or whenever you are in contact with this, that's when you tend to have, because it could vary. Some people are allergic to peanuts, but never know because they have never had it until they go for a party and then maybe a friend gives it to them. So then they come home and you hear your child had an allergic reaction or had, anything very worse. So you want to find out what happened. So if you take that inventory of the child's daily activity, then you can realize that, he had peanuts. You have that down. Maybe the next time he tends to get peanuts again and he has it, then you know that.
That's it.
Please stay away from peanuts, right? Please stay. And the worst part of it, just a mere allergy can be cured with just antihistamines, right?
Okay.
The worst part of it is when it becomes an anaphylactic reaction. Now, anaphylaxis is when you have difficulty in breathing, you have swelling of your face, swelling of your lip, redness, chest tightness. That one looks, they feel like they have a feeling of an impending doom, like they're about to die. So if you know that you frequently get allergy, severe allergy that leads to anaphylaxis, you want to see your doctor, because it could give you an EpiPen, and EpiPen is adrenaline, a self-administrated adrenaline, so you always have it as a pack. So whenever you go, once you are diagnosed that you frequently have anaphylaxis, so that you can self-inject yourself whenever you need to.
Stop you. Abigail is on the line. Good morning, Abigail. Hello. Hello, Abby. Okay, yeah. So we don't want to get to chronic allergic things.
Anaphylaxis.
Anaphylaxis. Hey, nice medical term, a very terrible thing. Yeah. So. I would advise that you come to the bank hospital and get that checked, because he says he's a bit older, so he's in his late 50s.
Yeah.
You want to, fully do a check, see if there are probably even some underlying factors. Let's get to schizophrenic.
So he comes to the bank hospital, we sit down and go through that history. Sometimes just listening to the patients, you get to find out, you get to pick out, because again, the eye sees what the mind knows. So you get to pick out knowing that, okay, when he does this, then we'll tell him to avoid those and see. So he comes to the bank hospital, we sit down, take that inventory, that history, then frequent updates. Then we get to find out exactly what's going on.
Fantastic. Abigail is back on the line. Good morning, Abigail. Abigail? Oh, okay. I think today Abigail's line is So let's get back to schizophrenia. Tell us what is it? Nice name, but what is schizo?
Yeah, so it's basically a mental health condition that affects people, and it's characterized by certain symptoms or certain behaviors, that we could look out to and diagnose you. There's actually a criteria you have to go through to ensure that this is schizophrenia, because there are different types. There's schizoaffective, so when you have schizophrenia together with mood disturbances, your mood, you're always elevated or low, you want to be sure you're ruling out bipolar disorder. Some people are not, categorically diagnosed as schizo, right? So you want to be sure. So that would have to ask you questions and go through that. But basically, it's many of symptoms, right? So you can have negative symptoms and positive symptoms.
Right.
So just for the benefit of my viewers, if you are able to, you are hearing things that no one else is hearing.
It's not spiritual.
It's not spiritual.
Hey.
Right. So it's called auditory hallucinations.
Right.
Anything that we have first person, second person, and third person auditory hallucinations. And you are hearing things. No one else is hearing what you're hearing. You're hearing voices. Someone is telling you what to do. Someone is dictating your movement. Go and open the door. Come and sit down. So what she was saying was, she speaks to herself.
Yes.
The question I would like to ask her is, does she hear other people speaking to her? That's what she should be taking notice of. And does she do what those people, does she tend to do what those people are doing? So it's like someone is telling you, can even be watching TV, and then you feel like the person on the TV is talking to you. But truly, they're just having their normal conversations, right?
Please put a pause on that. Abigail wants to talk to us. Good morning, Abigail, again.
Morning, please.
Finally. Great. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Please, I'm from East Legon.
Great.
Yeah, please. I had a serious malaria.
Okay.
But later on, I got to the hospital, and I'm a student here. But I had a shock. They said I have to get some medicine from... The doctor told my mom she has to eat because I'm going to lose everything. I can't read back. I can't spell anything. And the doctor gave my mom memory medicine. That's the medicine.
Wait, you said you after the malaria, you couldn't read? You couldn't remember stuff that you read?
Yes, please. The doctor said I'll get a break.
A breakdown of what?
My brain.
Of your brain. As a result of the
brain,
malaria?
Yeah. He said I can't read back. I can't spell and all those things. So my mom has to get a pill for me. My mom got the pills, but still, I got a glasses teacher, but still no any improvement.
Yeah, right. Doc?
So I always say that whenever you go to the hospital, you have, as a patient, you have a responsibility. In as much as we owe you the duty of care to treat you, you have a responsibility. And one of those responsibilities is finding out what is wrong with me, doctor. What is wrong? What's my diagnosis? A lot of the time, people come in and go back home. Then you ask them, what did they treat you for? Malaria. Now my first question is, how is she sure that it was malaria she was treated for? That's a question. How is she sure that it was malaria? Perhaps they had gone, the doctor was thinking of something else for which he educated her the way he did. Nobody educates you on after taking a malaria pill that you have a brain, what do you say, a brain freeze?
A breakdown, sort of.
A breakdown of your brain.
Yes.
No.
And she doesn't have...
to read? She said she cannot read?
She cannot read right. And then even when she does, she doesn't remember. Exactly.
So that's not malaria, right? So there are classical symptoms you are looking out for when you think you have malaria. Even when we have cerebral malaria, there are also classical symptoms you are looking, seizures, and all that. So I think that it was perhaps something else the doctor was thinking at that point in time, T, for which he mentioned that,
Okay.
Maybe she already has a de novo problem with, reading, understanding, that's which has to be diagnosed. And treated or perhaps managed along the way. But honestly, I don't think that was malaria. But just to tell the public, when you go to the hospital, please ask the doctor, what am I being managed for? Because that even helps the next doctor that would see you. Now, guess what? If she comes to the hospital with something else, let's say with something else, totally something else, and then we ask for a past medical history, and she'll say, yes, she had malaria. You know, I've seen patients who have had surgeries, you know, on examination. You see a huge scar on the abdomen, and then you ask them, oh, I see a scar here. What surgery did you have? Say, oh, doctor, it was malaria, and they did surgery for me.
No way.
So you see what I'm saying? So it makes it difficult. For some people, they've even removed their womb, so they don't have a womb because perhaps they were bleeding, then they did a hysterectomy and took out their womb, but they don't know that, and then they tend to say, oh, it was malaria. Do you understand what I'm saying? For some people, they've had cholecystectomy, they've removed their gallbladder or something. So you need to ask a question. And for most doctors, they will tell you, it's your information. They will tell you. Now, where the responsibility lies is people don't remember what you have been told. So write it down.
On that, real quick. Daniel is on the line. Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, good morning.
Sure, the doctor can hear you. You can ask your question.
I actually listening to Doctor. He talked about hearing voices as hallucination, a mental health condition.
Yeah.
I just want to find out for clarity. What if you don't hear voice, but you feel like something crawling on your skin? That was a mental health condition.
You don't hear a voice, but you feel something crawl on your skin.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is that a mental health condition?
Sure. Why not? Let's find out from the doctor real quick. So we're dealing with two issues now.
Yeah.
We're dealing with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And he's saying that he doesn't hear voices,
yeah.
but he feels something crawl on his skin.
So,
an indicator.
Yeah, so like I said, these symptoms tend to intertwine, these symptoms between, mental health conditions. It could be a whole spectrum that tend to intertwine. But then if you have a sit down with a doctor and we go through your symptoms one by one, they'll tell us what to do, right? Now, with what he is having, it's called tactile hallucinations. Tactile means feeling. It has to do with your sensory organs. So your skin, you're feeling like there's something crawling, right? So you are feeling like you have some pain somewhere, but there's no pain there. There's nothing medically that shows there's a pain there, right? So you feel like you have a brain tumor. You feel like there's an animal or an insect crawling on it. So it's tactile hallucinations. But if you actually look at the place, there's nothing there. So you are still hallucinating, right? So there's also what we call delusions. Now, delusion is a fixed, false belief. It's a belief that is fixed. You believe it, but it is false. So those around you are not experiencing the same thing, right? So we can have delusion. Some people actually can think that they are the Queen of England, and they actually believe it. I saw a funny post on Instagram. I think that was last week. This guy has just been employed as a warden on a psychiatric ward, and he entered with a cane. And then a certain man stopped him. He said, why are you here? It was like, oh, he came. He said he was just newly employed. And they asked him, why did you come with a cane? Do you think these people are animals? Give me that cane. And then the tutor handed over the cane to the person he was speaking to. Then the nurse came out and was like, why are you talking to, he mentioned the guy's name. Apparently the guy who was speaking to him was a patient.
Interesting.
So like, you've given him the cane.
You've killed us.
So he was asking, should I run away? That. So so there are delusions, fixed, false belief. So that guy was believing, he thought he was the principal of that, territory.
Yeah.
He owned that territory, right? Meanwhile, that was false. Some people tend to think that people in high authorities are in love with them,
Like President Mahama is in love with
can be exactly, you tend to think that, So it's a whole lot of symptoms that come to play. We have to, fix things together. And now with the criteria, we have what we call the DSM criteria. If sometimes you can meet two or not. So we have a major criteria and a minor criteria. So you have to ensure that you meet those criteria before we hand over that diagnosis called maybe schizophrenia or something else, right? So you have to ensure that with the major criteria, you've met one of this and 3 of the minor criteria. And it should have lasted maybe over 2 weeks, over 3 months, depending on the mental condition we are looking at in question, right? So even depression.
We can't conclude.
Great, you can't conclude. So even depression, some people just have low moods in 2 days, and they say, I'm depressed. But really, you're not depressed because you haven't met the criteria for depression, right? So you have to ensure that you no longer have interest in things that originally interest you. You have to ensure that maybe your sleep pattern has been distorted, and this should be going on for quite a while, right, before we can diagnose. So this is depression. So you have to meet that criteria. Basically, you have to sit down, you go through the checklist of your symptoms and ensure that, okay, you have met the criteria for depression. Then we can say, okay, let's start you on cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a talk therapy.
Okay.
So you start talking. That can actually help you out of it, So you engage the psychologist. He talks to you, book sessions. He talks you out of it. And then maybe you feel like you want to get friends. Maybe you don't have friends. Talk to people. But when we realize that it is in a severe state, then antidepressants can come into play. And start giving you medication. So we have to understand what exactly we are dealing with. So one symptom does not necessarily mean that's what you have. So you have to meet that criteria to ensure that,
So let's not conclude, even if you feel something crawling on your skin, or you're in your own world, you feel like, okay, you're a bit, schizophrenic. No, don't agree to it yet until you've had a conversation with the doctor.
But I just want to add that it's good he has noticed that, right? So the next thing to do is to visit the hospital. So you can come to the hospital, have a chat, right? Because one thing we actually look out for when it comes to mental health conditions is insights.
Right.
Now, some people don't have insight to it. Some people do have insight. Now, those who have insight, who do not have insight, tend to feel like there's nothing wrong with them. It is normal, and that is a problem. Right. Now, some people tend to have insight, and they say they know, like he identified as to whatever is going. Now he comes, and then we insight. It will be difficult to, calling him, and he just doesn't want to, you need for this kind of. He thinks that, no, he's fine. Donald Trump is this guy. He talks to him anytime, so you know why.
And it's not spiritual. My Africans cannot really.
I feel like there could be some spiritual, attachment to it, because sometimes someone once said, because of evolution of medicine, now we have a diagnosis for everything that happens.
The witches are free.
Right. So, but I always say that, why don't you tackle it both ways?
Right.
Because now, the moment you tell people that it is spiritual and they need to go to leave it behind, and perhaps something medical is actually ongoing. So why don't you, tackle it? When you go to battle, if you watch these movies, American movies with battle, the best way to tackle your enemy is not just coming from the front. Sometimes they go overnight behind them.
Right.
Now, on the day of battle, you are coming from the front, you are coming from behind. That way, you are able to, catch them at a particular spot, and there is no running area, right? So, if you tackle it medically, you should also tackle it spiritually. That way, there is no room for the devices of the enemy, because we are not ignorant of them, right? Yeah, so we have to ensure that we.
Well, we have another text. This is on our YouTube page. This is from Guiding Step. It says, "Hello, Biadela. Please ask the doctor that there's a small lump behind my baby's ear. I want to find out what it is, and I hear it is nothing serious, but he will grow out of it, a small lump." I wish he could maybe even add a picture to it, a small lump behind the baby's ear.
Yeah, so with that history examination, right, we have to find out, first off, how old is your baby, and when did you notice the lump? Has it increased in size? Is it painful to the baby? Is there something like a discharge coming out of the lump? There's so many questions we have to ask. Does he have fever, and all that? So we have to ask, does he pee often. So you have to find out, and you have to examine the lump and see, is it attached to the skin? Is it underneath the skin? What part of the ear is it exactly? And all that. So we have to actually go through a good history and examination to tell what exactly that lump is. But she mentioned, I suppose she's been to the hospital for her to say that she was told she grew out of it. And it means she has to find out what exactly is that kind of lump. When it comes to lumps and bumps, there are so many, that you have to classify and know exactly what that lump is. When did it start? Was your baby born with it? Or did he acquire it, as he was growing? How old is your baby now? How has the size been so far, the progression? Is it become smaller, bigger? Is it the same? And all that. Are they associated symptoms to that as well? Is it discharging? Do you feel like there's a punctum? Do you feel like it's soft? Is it hard?
Oh, wow.
There's so many things you have to find out to tell that, okay, so this is what we are dealing with. Wow. Then you can now reassure her that, don't worry, the baby will grow out of it, or don't worry, with this, at a certain age, you would have to do surgery to take it out, because there are certain things that for babies you don't have to go until they've built some level of immunity and strength, then you can now do surgery to take it out. So we have to see, look, feel, and examine. So basically that.
Wow. Isn't it interesting? I've learned a lot, actually. A few things about schizophrenia and all of that. But the most important thing is that, aside the fact that we're calling in and asking all these questions, we still want to get to, the hospital, the bank hospital, or any hospital close to you. Find out, ask the right questions. The doctor says it's our responsibility. So when you get there, ask the question, ask what this medicine is going to do, what it's going to fix, so that you're not an ignorant patient. But, so thank you to the Bank Hospital for, being a part of our morning show. We're excited to have you always. You want to go to the Bank Hospital for two things, spine and stroke treatment. So we're looking at 650 Ghana cedis for stroke care, and then 750 Ghana cedis for spine care. This happens from on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. up until 31st March. And even beyond that, there's an exclusive 10% discount on Doppler scans, psychotherapy, and surgeries. So you want to go to the Bank Hospital, you can walk in or call to book an appointment. It's 0302 739 373 0302 739 373. So thank you so much, the Bank Hospital, for supporting the morning show. And also, we want to say a big thank you to the Deco Planners, those who can actually bring your dream to light. Right? So you want to check out the Deco Planners. The numbers are on the screen, and you want to check them out on their socials. Is at _Deco Planners, and you want to book them for all your occasions. Right. So there's a conversation that's coming up about the symbols, the cross symbols that we have. Some people feel that there's a diabolic thing to it, but we want to fully ascertain what is it and how it plays in our Christian concept. And so you don't want to go anywhere. Koko's fired up for that convo. I'm also ready for that convo because we are learning. Let's go for a break, and then when we get back, the Wake Up Africa show continues.
Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi presents Overwhelming Miracle Sunday on Sunday, 30th March 2025. Venue 31 Volta Street, adjacent Noble House Restaurant. Morning session 8 a.m. and evening session 5 p.m. Entry is free. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with anointed music ministry from ACP Kofi Sapon, Reverend Sami Obinpoku, The Blood Crew, and Nama Atayabua. Overwhelming Miracle Sunday with words of wisdom from Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Don't miss out. Join Action Chapel International Rich Community Kumasi for the Overwhelming Miracle Sunday.
I decree today that the power of God that is coming upon your life, no enemy will touch you and go free.
Experience the power. Take dominion.
Say in the name of Jesus. I prophesy. Doors of favor. Open.
Ocean Chapel's Dominion Hour. Now, live this and every Thursday on Dominion TV.
And from today, you will be stronger than any enemy.
Welcome to the conversation. We're excited that you can make some time to join us. Thanks for sharing company with us from 6:30 a.m. This is Wake Up Africa. If you just tuned in, we are on to our very final part, the final lap of our conversations. And this has to do with what I believe the case is. I don't know how widespread that is, endemic that is, established that is, but I just believe that we've spiritualize a lot of things. Also, some of them have spiritual connotations. When you speak to theologians, they tell you that if you go in there, for feeble minds like me, I might take it to one particular phenomenon is numerology, where numbers, somebody can tell you when you add 6 plus 4 is 10. It means this in spiritual or whatever. But we're also doing that, I'm sure, when we're, in the world and all of that. So how do they blend? So spirituality, our culture, and some of the things that are in between. We'll talk about that. So today we're focusing our attention on symbols. We just don't have Adinkra symbols here in Ghana. There are symbols. All tribes are. I know others also have. But symbols and their meanings. And then, of course, whether or not they have spiritual connotations. How do we use them so that I will not go to hell? But we went on the street and we asked people about what they thought about symbols and all of that. This is what they had to say. When we come back, my guests who are very able are in the studio. We'll talk about that. Stay with us.
I'm Juliet Boahima. I'm Sharon Farida.
My name is Caleb.
My name is Mary. My name is Felicia Duncan.
My name is David.
My name is Evelyn. I'm Deladen. My name is Adiza. Okay, so I think the Adinkra symbol represents spirituality, values, and wisdom. Yeah.
Okay, the Adinkra symbol that I know is Sankofa, which means going back to pick something that you used to do, which helped you to be successful. When you stop that and you think that when you picked something else and then it didn't help you, and then you went to pick, you go back to go and pick what you used to do, which helped you. Yes, so I think that is the meaning.
They promote respect and
cultural values. So I think this aligns to Christian principles. Many symbols in Africa promote values like community, unity, respect, wisdom, which help to align Christian principle.
The Adinkra symbols mean it represents Africa's culture and identity, what we stand for, what we are known for, and everything. The Jingame, the Sankofa, the Owotrija, and Akoben and others.
One of the Adinkra symbols that I know is Nyamidia, which means the tree of God.
Our forefathers' knowledge that they channel through their symbols. I think sometimes spirituality plays a role because you see it on the chiefs, clothing and other stuff.
I know about Jinyame, meaning except for God, symbolizing the power of God. Adinkra symbol, it means, to me, it's talking about our cultural values and in general, like it talks about our heritage. Example, Jinyame, Mredane, Sankofa, and etc.
Oh, okay, so I know the Mredane symbol. So the Mredane symbol means time changes.
So there you have it, the thoughts of some friends on the streets of Accra. Here in the studios are men who know about these things, whether they have spiritual connotations or not. But of course, from the National Commission on Culture is the Deputy Director, Dr. Richardson Comifio, who joins us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And also Reverend Roland Soa, who is a counselor, he's a pastor with Action Chapel International Community 2. There's a lot he does as well. I know a lot of people don't know. Should I say? It's fine, it's okay. But thank you very much for coming through. We're grateful. Are you impressed, Doc?
Yes.
You are?
Yes, I mean...
we have a future.
Yes, of course. I mean, the issue has always been how intentional we have been about this, because immediately you belong to a society. There's that subconscious part of you. Culture. I mean, one of the key elements of culture is the ability to pick habit and knowledge, of your society. And so as you grow subconsciously, there are things that you see and hear. And whether you are interested or not, you keep them in your subconsciousness. And when you are asked deliberately and you become conscious of it, you are able to express yourself about them. And that is what I see about our friends on the street. And I think that if we are very deliberate about it, it will be very easy to bring us to the right path.
Before I come to, because he's the custodian of those and he understands them, he goes into it.
Custodian of the symbols.
Exactly, and the knowledge of them. Course. You are coming from a point of both, where again, there are understandings that look, every symbol that we see could have a meaning, a spiritual meaning. How do you think, talk to me about symbols, especially ones that we have, Adinkra symbols like this, whether or not they have anything to do with spirituality that could damage us. I don't know how to start the conversation, but you started, let's go, let's see.
Okay. Koku, God's wisdom is not limited to one culture. Okay, it's woven into the fabric of human existence. Where somebody may be in China, somebody may be in Accra, but you can actually see some themes and wisdom, or the wisdom of God being displayed. Okay, the Bible is full of symbols. Our culture is full of symbols. We actually see symbols every day wherever we go. Your dress is symbolic. If you study iconography, it tells you what symbols do.
So the study of symbols is iconography?
Iconography, yes, one branch of the study of symbols. But it has, of course, physical implication, it has spiritual implication, it has cultural implication, it has social. it has so many implications. Okay. It depends on where you stand and how you want to analyze it and communicate it out. Okay. Yes. So symbols are, I mean, for example, if you look at the Christian symbol like the cross, it was never the cross in the first place. The Christian symbol then was the fish.
Was a fish?
Was a fish, of course. You know, they used the Greeks used the Greek alphabet as an acronym. We have Insus Christos Theou Hios Soter. That is, you know, Jesus or Christ Jesus, the Son of God, saves. And when you put that together, it simply means fish. So they put that, hang that on their neck because of the persecution. So when I see you with that symbol, I know you're a believer. Then we now have to evolve and come to the pain, the pain on the cross, the suffering on the cross. And now we put the cross on our, I mean, the necklace, we hang it on our necks as believers. So the Bible is full of symbols. The horn of the ram, you know, the sword of the Spirit, of course, you know, shoes, talking about glad tidings, sharing the good news. The world is actually a warehouse of symbols.
I'm here thinking that if anybody were to see me wear a fish and they ask me what that means, oh, I'm a Christian and that's our symbol, hey, this one. Now you are from Volta region. I mean, we know what you can do. But tell me about the dog. I mean, let's come to your zone now. We just play some of them on the screen. If we can put it back, just want to test the knowledge of Doc on this. And if he fails, we would have to take him to prison. But if they put the symbols there so that you can walk us through some of them. Oh, okay, they are there already. Yeah. So that's Jinyami. Yeah. Jinyami. Take God. Is that how it is literally?
No, accept God.
Oh, accept. Oh, Jinyami. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So it's spiritual.
Yes, it's spiritual, and I mean that is the one of the fundamental evidence that as a society we knew God very well before the advent of Christianity. Right. Except that we had our own way of communicating with this God and the principles of Christianity, and so that is fundamentally clear. I mean, apart from Jinyami, we have Nyami Enua also.
Is it there?
No, it's not there. Okay. Which also is one of the indications of God, and that also indicates the fact that Obako Fonsan to mean Kata Nyami, right? So it means that for you to also be able to achieve anything according to the principle of God, there should be that unity, peace, and togetherness, you know, and all that. And that is also a very powerful principle in Christianity. But the fact, I mean, even with the name Edinkra, you know, and all that, Edinkra means Yendinkra, Yendinkra, right? So let's say farewell. So really, it came from the Akan funeral traditions, and so the early fabrics for funerals had these designs and symbols in them. So originally, it was a type of cloth for funerals that was called edinkra, and it was mainly used by royalty in the Akan society, usually black and white. So they spread the white fabric there, and then they have this block of black designs that they put in them. It is still in some part of Ghana, especially in the Ashanti region. You still have some of these there, and then it evolved, you know, from there. So the symbols have been with us. I mean, as we have all agreed, but it has to get to a point where we need to document them and see how it communicates and supports our understanding of society and how we build and develop ourselves. My favorite symbol, the Funtum Funefu Denchem Funefu. Right.
I'm not sure I saw it there.
There's
it's not that common.
Yes, the two crocodiles with one stomach.
Okay.
Right. So the symbol, you see two crocodiles, okay, but they have conjoined,
Okay.
tummy.
Okay.
But then, whenever there's food, they fight each other. Meanwhile, it is going to the same tummy. So if this one eats it, I'll feel satisfied. If I eat it, he also feels satisfied. Yet we want to fight. So the question is, what is it? Is it about the taste before we get the satisfaction that we are fighting over, or we are thinking that we don't have one stomach, so I have to fight and get it and all that, right? But it is one of the very powerful, symbols that teaches us that whatever we do as individuals has implications on each other. And so we should be mindful of what we do in a society. So you being upstream, throwing your rubbish here and there, remember that there's somebody downstream whose only source of water is yeah. So this that has been there. So you have the two parts that are downward are the heads of the crocodiles,
Right.
and the up ones are the tails of the crocodile. You see, their bodies are crossing.
Yeah.
So it means that whatever the two eat, they go into the same center.
Interesting.
Yet they struggle, they fight whenever food is presented to them, right? And so it is even a very strong message, even in Christianity, when we have a lot of denominations set now, and all of us are saying that the focus is that we are leading people to Christ. But how do we see the denominations coming together to support themselves toward that same goal?
Absolutely.
As if we are enemies. But if we know that our focus is one, then why do we see ourselves that if I don't belong to Christ, what do you call Methodist or this church and all that, then it means that we are not doing something well and all that.
See,
Amazing.
is there a departure, quite frankly, where you see that the meaning of any of these symbols could bring some harm to you, especially now that Christianity has come and there's light? It's come to shed some light on some of these addictions. Is there a departure?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all. I was even asking myself that Nana Kojo Edinkra, did he really, what was his religious affiliation?
Who is he again?
He happens to be the brain behind the Edinkra symbols. I mean, that's the king Nana Kojo Edinkra,
right.
Okay, of the German kingdom.
Yeah.
Right. And I was asking myself whether he had an encounter with God. But you see, in theology, we have two major sources of revelations. Okay, we have what we call the special revelation, and we have the general revelation. Special revelation has to do with God communicating to us, okay, through his Son, through his word, through his prophets, through angelic beings, through theophanies and Christophanies and all these things, okay. But then again, when you come to general revelation, as stated in Romans chapter 1 verse 20, let me paraphrase that. It says that the attributes of God, the power of God, and everything that he has created, okay, has been made visible to all of us. And because of that, there is no man without excuse. You have no excuse. Because you could see God. Just go to the forest and fell a tree. Look at the rings, the pattern, so beautiful. You ask yourself, there is a master designer behind this. Okay, Bible says that, the sun comes out of its chamber like a bridegroom. Look at the setting up of the sun. Look at the river bodies. Okay, now, if you consider all these, you realize that Nana Kojo Edinkra, the man behind these Edinkra symbols, might have actually had an encounter with general revelations. Okay, where, it's full of wisdom. Something like, what's the name? Sankofa.
Yes.
If you look at the theme in the Bible, it has to do with ask of the ancient landmark and walk in it. Means that go back to the original path created and walk in that. Something like, is it a ban? Is it a ban? I mean, like a defense. If I don't pronounce it well, doc, just correct me. It's like, a ban, you know. The Bible says that the Lord's name is like a strong tower. The righteous run into it, and there they find safety. So all these things, even though we may not have the symbols in the Bible, the themes are already there. By extension, you can actually match them up. So, what else again? Jinyami.
Okay.
Except God. And the Bible says, except the Lord watch over the city, the watchman watch in vain. Except the Lord builds a house, the builders build in vain. It tells you about the omnipotence of God, the power of God, the sovereign rule of God. So there is nothing actually new under the sun. Everything can be linked to what we have in the Word.
Before I come to Doc, I want to go on this wild one. Would it be anything wrong, or would that be far-fetched if I walk into a church and all I see is symbols representing the tribes and all of that? Or there are special symbols that are expected to be seen in churches, for which if we have African churches, we have to still represent that to be able to give that perspective of where we're coming from. So is it a Dinkra and the others seen in church? Is that okay? Also, are there ones that must be seen to be able to reflect who we are?
Right. The Adinkra symbols have taken a strong stance in our culture. Okay. Sometimes you may wear a shirt that has the Adinkra symbol, but you may not be an Ashanti or an Akan.
True.
But you love that.
Yes.
You see, we have those symbols in churches. I mean, some churches, of course. It is not bad. It depends on where you stand.
Okay.
Some people may think that if I put this there, it's like I'm favoring or honoring one tribe above the other.
Right.
Okay. So why don't we use the kingdom culture kind of symbol, which is the cross? Okay. There is nothing wrong having these symbols in churches, in our logos, in pottery, in architectural designs, especially church. I know a few churches, I don't want to mention them, they have those symbols. It talks about wisdom. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. The level of maturity tells you that this has to do with the fact that we are embracing our culture as indigenes. We love what we have. We don't have to westernize everything. Let's actually, I think it's high time we bring these things to bear. We actually, I mean, if we have some in the Volta region and we know that it syncs with what the Word of God says, we can just project it there, just to appreciate what we have.
There's everything that you may need, whether wisdom, whether some practice, whether strategies. I find that in the Bible. Is there more, or can you also draw some parallels, convergence, where you could add more from where we're coming from? You've mentioned some of them, but have we left some of them off? Because you see, as much as possible, I want to be truthful, we have come under some attack as Christians to say that you are in your numbers, but there is serious issues with morality. So some people who are proponents of everything Africans say, because you have left this one, you are taking this one, but there must be a blend. Walk me through that blend and what you think.
Yeah, thank you, Goku. And I think this is a very interesting question. Already from what Reverend said, we already have significant influence of symbols in our church logos and what we do. A lot of the times we represent Christ with the bright sun and all that, and all these are critical symbols already in tradition. When you study ethnography and anthropology, you come across semiotics, which is the study of symbols and the meanings they convey. And it tells you that even as we grow, there are new symbols that are generated, right? From how the current generation see things and their perspective about life. So the symbols that we have, we need to have the idea that we are not going to have only symbols that are 1,000 years ago, and then anything that is new today cannot be added on. And so it is very important that one of the key fundamentals of Christianity is the fact that it has been one of the strong pillars of education in our society.
Right.
And so every step of empowerment of the individual, the Christian has a role to play.
Right.
And so I would agree to anybody blaming Christianity for the breakdown of the moral fiber of society. And so it means that if there is any wisdom and knowledge that are embedded in symbols and all that, Christianity has a very key role to play in exposing that as part of human development of their church members and all that. Because we also believe that, of course, there's a very significant quotations in the Bible that say that Christians are the light of the world. They are the salt of the earth, right? So it means that even when it comes to secular knowledge, the Christian has a key role to play in making sure that the society is following the right kind of knowledge that contribute to developing a perfect society that we all want. So I think that Christianity has not done much in paying attention to what some of these symbols does. And of course, it is not only the account symbols we have them across. And we need to also look at the value and the meaning that it contains. And that is universal. And so it doesn't matter whether you are citing an example with the account symbol or the gas symbol or the EV symbol. But it challenges us as a National Commission on Culture to also look at how we expand the reach of these symbols for people to understand that when we say symbols, it is not only Adinkra symbols, but we really have traditional symbols across our country and all that. Even GTP, has a lot of symbols that they have also, been able to design.
From across the tribe?
Yes, and contemporary ones based on issues that happen in our society and all that. I mean, you know of the ones that came out of the COVID presentations that Nanado was doing, and a special spectacles was made.
Was it that? Was it?
No. Yeah, there was the Nanado spectacle cloth.
Oh, really?
That was a symbol. Yes.
I thought it was something else.
No, so immediately you see the two round circles. It tells of Nanado's special spectacles that he wore. Okay. And that was very unique and very excellent. This comes to add up to whatever we have as symbols. Tomorrow when you see it, it reminds you of a certain period in time when Ghana was struck with COVID and everybody was in their homes, and then all the time what we watch on TV is our president, fellow Ghanaians. Okay, so there was the fellow Ghanaians, that was really the name. Okay, and so you see the cloth and it reminds you that there was a time where we had a president reaching out to our homes, almost coming to our homes every week to update us of a particular situation and all that. Right? Amazing. So we have these developing around us, but we need to be very conscious on recording them so we don't lose track of our history and what has happened to us as a people.
I see. Very instructive. I think we can open the phone lines here, of course, for people who are interested in also joining the conversation. Whether or not you want to teach us more, whether or not you have some questions, whether or not you have some point of departure where you feel that, okay, what we are saying really doesn't make too much sense to you, and you have something else, you can also share with us. The phone numbers are on the screen. We're talking largely about symbols and whether or not there's a connection. It's been established that there is a connection, spiritual connection, and so it's not evil at all. Reverend Roland Soa says it's not evil. It cannot be said it's evil and all of that. The other aspect has to do with, I was going to pose that question to but he had answered it, the issue of allowing especially the younger ones to begin to, because you see, when you start using your Greek terms, as much as I love it, I need to understand it. And thank God for you. some of them, when we hear it, nobody is in a hurry to explain it to us. But you are magnanimous enough to be able to break it down. But when you, even for me, the current symbols, I do understand because it's in tree. So when you say it, I might go outside the country and you ask what's the meaning. I'm like, so I have to go back. So we are losing it. And so you are coming so much from that community. How can we continue? You started it, but how can we be deliberate and conscious about blending it so that Christianity, as it has a role to touch many, it still has that role of also transmitting some of these things?
All right.
Deliberate consciousness.
Yes. I think we have to be intentional about it.
Right.
And like Doc says, we have to document some of these things and teach them to our children. Okay? We must not wait for them to learn about these things only in the classrooms. When they come home, let them see the symbols being hanged by the doorpost, around the walls, in our homes, basically. You see, the more you see something, the more it registers into your subconsciousness. And anything that gets into your subconsciousness gets locked there. It doesn't get, it doesn't vaporize automatically. Right. Okay, but if you go talk about it once or twice and leave it, of course, people will move back to their default state. So I think that we have to be intentional and also upgrade our knowledge base into knowing that these things are not evil. Look at the wisdom behind it. Yeah. That was why I was in a hurry to query whether this man really had an encounter with God. And that was before the advent of Christianity.
Yeah. Let's pick this call. Senyo is calling us. Senyo, can you hear us? Where are you calling us from? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling from Party.
Okay, great. You want to talk to us? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, you were talking about the symbols. And in art, to link it to the biblical way, the symbols depict what message you wanted to send out there. That is why it's very important for Christians to know the kind of symbols to use for their signposts and all that. And sometimes it looks as if most of them don't understand symbols or emblems that they use. So it sends a lot of signals out there. So we need to educate people about what symbols or the emblems are, especially to the Christian societies, so that they can know exactly what they mean and why they have to use them. Otherwise, it sends out of bad signals, especially to some of them with what they use.
I see. Yeah, very, very important. Thank you very much, Senyo. And where are you watching us from again? We just wanted to know where we're covering. Where specifically? Oh, we lost him. All right, wanted to know. Have we over-spiritualized a lot of things?
I think so. We have over-spiritualized a lot of things. And I'm not sure you want us to go there today because we're going to have to write a whole book on that. You see, let's say, cockroach or a gecko, okay, or let's say a lizard, just pass in front of your car tie. What do? We begin to bind and lose.
But we have to lose now.
What are you losing? and probably the worst of all is what we call breakthrough. Since the time, I think I was 7 years ahead of breakthrough, we are still breaking through up to now. What are we breaking through? You see, Koko, you come to realize that anytime you bring me on set, I talk about knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. If you know something, it lessens your burdens because you have knowledge as far as that thing is concerned. And therefore, when you are confronted that thing, I am not against spirituality. Listen, I'm a man of prayer. I pray every day.
Yes.
I drive, I pray. I'm in the office, I may be working, and I'm praying. Okay. But I always say that prayer will not solve the question that common sense can solve.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Right.
We have over-spiritualized so many things. Okay? And then again, with the do we have somebody on the line?
Yeah, on the line.
Okay.
So I'll come to you. I'll come after you, then I'll come to Doc. Suleimana is calling us from Medina. Suleimana, can you hear us?
Yeah, boss. Good morning.
Good morning. You want to talk to us? You have 1 minute.
Yeah. So, if the Adinkra symbols are not, bad or I don't have any bad implications, can I go to church wearing accessories like chains, rings with those kind of symbols on it? Okay. Or can I maybe do an aboy with, some symbols like Jinyame, Sankofa, and things? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question. Very practical one. I love that. As for that boy, I can answer that. If I was to have a nice head like the Archbishop, I would have been giving it like this. Because I love that too much. But my head, no, in some way. Yes, so let's even forget about Adinkra because that one is easy. Cowries.
Cowries. What does it stand for? Okay. Is it because we saw the fetish priest use that?
Yes.
For that reason, it is evil?
Yes. That's what we say.
Oh, so should we say that the sword is evil? Because the sword has been used for so many things. But we have what you call the sword, the sword when it comes to the word of God, the sword of the spirit. Okay, it depends on where you stand. It depends on what you're trying to communicate. It depends on what you're trying to portray. Okay, what looks good for somebody, of course, may obviously look evil to somebody based on cultural differences. For example, if you went to town and you saw a symbol that reminds you of something that happened to you in the past, which was evil, and I see the same symbol and it reminds me of something that happened to me in the past, which was so good. Of course, we stand at two different junctions. Do you understand? So if you talk about cowries, we have people who put on cowries. Okay, it is the spirit behind it. Okay, the letter killeth, but the spirit gives life. You know, it's the spirit behind it.
Right.
Okay, so I don't think that we have to over spiritualize everything and think that you see somebody in cowries and you are running away, and you might even conclude by saying that this person may be a fetish priest. It may not be so. But like my brother said, we also have to be very careful the kind of symbols we put on our logos and even in churches. Because if you have a symbol where you saw somebody chewing human flesh, drawn and put in church, of course, it sends a signal to whoever is coming in there. And the person may think that, no, I'm not safe in this, space. But if we're talking about the Dikra symbol and the Sankofa, the Jinyame, the Iban, I love the one you just said, the Ifutu what? And I think that one talks about greed. And the Bible is against greed.
Yes. I can take 2 years to mention this.
We are in the same space. And I'm trying to deny him what is rightfully his. And he's also trying to deny me what is rightfully mine. But it goes to the same source. And we call ourselves Christians. And that is the problem. It's so beautiful.
There's a new dawn in the country where there's a new president who wants to chart a new path. What should be the role of the National Commission on Culture in doing this too much so that it's established now?
Well, education. First of all, we have the National Folklore Board as one of the agencies under the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts now that looks at documenting and promoting our intangible cultural heritage, and that includes our symbols. And in fact, they are even mandated to charge, people and organizations that use symbols, especially for commercial purposes and all that. So, if you are a church and you design your logo and they can identify a Ghanaian symbol in there, you have to be paying, something. A token, if it's a Ghanaian organization, to the board to support it in their work in promoting intangible cultural heritage. But the National Commission on Culture as the bigger umbrella for cultural promotion in the country and having that wide reach at the regional and district levels, we need to enhance our education in this area, and I think it's about time that we partner, the churches, and ensure that they see themselves as key partners in ensuring that we have this education going very, very well down, to the people. Surprisingly, today we cannot still say Christianity is alien to Ghanaian culture. Now we have Ghanaian Christianity. Right? It is part of us now. Any kind of habit, attitude, traits that a group of people learn over time becomes part of their culture. And so now we have churches that were founded by Ghanaians, and are managed by Ghanaians, the ones that were even founded by foreigners, they have now obtained autonomy.
Yes.
Okay, and so we now have the Methodist Church of Ghana, right? The Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and all that. And we even have churches that started in Ghana and are elsewhere, like the Pentecost Church and all those ones. And so it tells you that we need to now understand the fact that we cannot continue to have this mindset that Christianity is alien to us. Christianity is now part of our culture. And so those of us who are in that faith need to also have that responsibility that whatever happens in our culture that we frown upon, you, the pastor standing in the pulpit to, complain, lament over that, you ask yourself, how much time do you also devote in ensuring that some of these values are also transferred to your church members, especially the young people? How do we use the children's service or the Sunday school for, right? Apart from learning, helping the children to know and getting the background of the Bible and all those things.
Which we are not doing anymore.
So, yes, how do we let them also appreciate that there isn't that gap between the church and the society? And it's about ensuring that the children find themselves, as you said, calories, sidie, okay? I mean, which is a representation of wealth,
yes,
right? And all that will be seen as evil and all that. And it is part of the people's history. You call it evil.
Who even created that thing? It was never the devil.
Right. So very right from the beginning, you are telling the children who are going to grow to become adult church members to start moving away from their own culture, their own society, and disconnecting themselves from their own cultural values and all that, right? And so they cannot even attend certain funerals, they cannot even attend certain ceremonies, okay, with their people, because they grew up not appreciating everything community, right, which involves these symbols and all that.
There's a lot of job to do, finally, there's a lot of job to do. I wish I could give you guys money to do it.
Yeah, but I believe that this new government, I mean, for some figures I'm seeing somewhere,
it will come. The money will come.
Yes.
We're excited about it.
Yes.
I would say that the world, or let's put it, limit it or narrow it to Africa. Okay, everywhere is full of symbols. Everywhere. As you sit there, you are symbolic. What I'm wearing is sending a message out there. Okay, from the biblical point of view, what I would say is that let's not really move into syncretism where we import other things into the Bible. Okay, however, let's look at what we have in the Bible that rather strengthens our culture, in the sense that all these symbols we've talked about do not have the symbols in itself in the Bible, but they have themes rather in the Bible. Let's appreciate our own. I know we love to wear the suits to church. Is it okay if we wear the, traditional outfit with these symbols in it to appreciate what we have? I think that there should be a revolution. Let's look at that and sanitize the system. Let's not westernize everything. Absolutely. Let's come back to our roots.
Let's come back to our roots. I think on that note, we want to call it a good time. It's been a great, always a great time to find these gentlemen and speak to them. Very deep people. Reverend Roland Soa is a pastor with the Action Chapel International Community 2, and he's a counselor as well, a professional counselor as well. So if you may need his services, you can contact us. We'll connect you to him. I nearly called you Reverend Doctor. Okay. Dr. Richardson Comifio is the Deputy Director of National Commission on Culture. Thank you very much for joining us. Wish you all the best. My name is Kokulumo, and big thanks to you for watching. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again. See you soon. God bless you.